Hey everybody, before you get to listen to episode 158, I just want to take the time right now to send thoughts and prayers over to Cesar's family. Cesar is a member of our Belly Up family, part of the Craft Brew podcast. And, unfortunately, recently we just got the news that he passed away. So we want to take the time right now and send thoughts and prayers and also have a brief moment in silence for Cesar and obviously his time at Craft Brew, very enjoyable person, great personality. Uh, all in all, a lot of great moments from our time at Belly Up. Um, so once again, thoughts and prayers over to Cesar's family and friends, and rest in peace, Cesar. Till we meet again.
The following is a presentation of the BellyUpSports Media Network.
The ball sends it over to Edward Robles. Goal! InsertName FC! Let's go! InsertName FC!
What is up, everybody? My name is Hector Flores, host of the InsertName FC podcast, a member of the Belly Up Sports Media Network. You can also find us on all things podcasts, and you can find us on YouTube. Please subscribe. And of course, GolzTV, which is the Hulu of soccer content. Joining me, as always, is my best friend and the other host of the show, Edward Robles, which obviously you can't see his face, but I decided to start being more playful with Edward's side of the recordings by so today I put the InsertName FC logo on Timo Werner's face. So
Oh God.
um so that's today. I don't know if you want to make this a shtick where we just like put random, you just pick like a random player and we'll just put
Are,
that the
we- are we are
InsertName
we
FC.
picking a random player that I thought was gonna be like an all-star at one point in life, and
Do you want to do that? Like,
we're
do you
just
just
making
want to like Edward's
we're just
like, oh
making
my
fun of
God, I
me?
can't believe that guy wasn't that good.
Oh God,
I don't know how
fucking
many guys
Timo Werner.
is there a lot of guys?
Timo Werner was one where he was a flop at Chelsea. Bro, honestly, he was a pretty big flop in Tottenham. Honestly,
Well, we'll
Jesus.
talk about Timo Werner later on, but yeah, no, well, yeah, because we'll be talking. Obviously, transfer window's open, so we will be talking transfers. But I don't know, Edward. I don't you don't necessarily have to like pick a player that you overly hype. You could just pick a random player. Uh, you know, however you want to
Yeah,
do
I
it,
know.
unless you want to just stick with Timo Werner all year.
I, I was gonna say you could do a shtick where it's like until he finally scores a hat trick, then maybe y'all take it off.
Oh, okay. So he scores a hat trick, and then we have to pick a new player.
Yeah, pretty much. Because like that was the hype. That was the hype. Remember, I was like, man, he might actually score a hat trick in the Champions League, and he fucked me up.
Yeah, we need to clip that, man. I might have to try to clip that moment where you said what you said about about Tony not Timo Werner. Jesus Christ, I can't even say names right now. But okay. All right, so that's gonna be the goal. So for as long as until Timo Werner scores a hat trick, we're gonna have the InsertName FC logo plastered on top of Timo Werner's face to represent Edward till he scores a hat trick, and then we'll pick a new player. It has to be like somebody that's probably struggling as well, right? I mean, I would assume that that should be the joke as well.
Oh god. Yeah, I mean, shit.
Because if that's the case, Robert
Well,
Lewandowski, I mean, you might be next.
no,
But
I mean, if anything, remember when Manchester United picked up Anthony, and I was like, oh, that's actually a good purchase. I think he might actually do some good. And then, yeah, he take it back, take it back.
Don't worry, we all have those bad takes.
Yeah,
Um,
I have a shitload of bad takes.
yeah. I mean, remember, I overly hyped Onana for you, so I apologize for that one.
You,
So I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, so this episode we're gonna talk about transfers because the transfer window has been opened. So we're going to be talking about that. Um, there's only one headline. It's just something that I wanted to bring up. I might throw something else while we're talking transfers, just because it is something relevant to talk about. Um, and then we're gonna have a preview of the 2023 African Cup of Nations. Uh, if you just so you guys understand, yes, the tournament is currently going on right now. It actually started the past weekend, but obviously we didn't start recording till now. So we took a bit of a break during the holidays, and so it's already been recorded. I actually was able to get Moussa from a member of GolzTV to come on and talk about African Cup of Nations. He's actually very knowledgeable of the continent of Africa and their soccer culture over there because he's African. Um, and so it did help out. So actually, kind of two things happened where obviously you're gonna have it on this episode, but also you're gonna start seeing like little segments of our recordings on Belly Up's YouTube channel. So in a way, I was able to kind of get the preview out ahead of time, so everyone knew where we felt about each groups and all that because it was on Belly Up. But obviously now you're gonna see it here on the InsertName FC YouTube channel. So yeah, so we got it out of the way. Just pointing that out. But yeah, so we do have Moussa from Mo Football to help out with the African Cup of Nations. Definitely we'll try to bring him on after the group stages as well. Announce our first first players of the week for the year. So we'll see how that goes. Give you guys some games to look forward to this coming weekend. And this is actually going to be a five-a-side draft, but Edward, being the amazing co-host that he is, uh told me, hey, Hector, we can't do a five-side draft on this. There has to be three up, three down, and I agree. So we made an audible. We made the corrections. Edward is my rib. And so yeah, so now we're gonna do a three up, three down on the year 2023, which depending on how it goes, that might be the segment that gets featured on the Belly Up YouTube channel. Um, so we'll see how that goes. So, and if it does, well, there you saw it on also on the Belly Up YouTube channel. So we'll see how all this goes. But I just want to say one thing, Edward, before we go on to the rest of the show. Um, shout out to Spencer.
oh
Like,
hell yeah,
shout out to Spencer. Obviously, had to be a team player. He obviously paid off the singing bet at our end of the year episode, which you're supposed to. And I will say, I didn't expect Spence. Look, I picked the songs, and usually whenever there's a song that is probably in a language that Spencer well, doesn't know, I usually offer an option for Spencer to pick to opt out, and I'll just give him another song. Um, he didn't say anything, and he just went ahead and sang "Ella Baila Sola" by Peso Pluma, and which he which for someone that doesn't speak Spanish, and specifically the only Spanish that he does know of is Dominican Spanish. I feel like he knocked it out of the park. But that's just me. So props to Spencer. I know 2024 is not going out so great for him with Alabama losing to Michigan, and then Nick Saban retiring from coaching. Which, if you guys want to know, the guys that don't understand American football, that's like basically Nick Saban retiring from college football is Sir Alex Ferguson retiring. He is literally the greatest coach in college football history. So, which Sir Alex Ferguson, greatest coach of all time. Um,
oh yeah.
so yeah, yeah, it's not a great time for Spencer. But I will say though, amazing performance that he did. Eye to eye, great performance. Definitely killed in the Foo Fighters, and then Peso Pluma. He swept me off my feet. I can say that. Edward, what did you think about Spencer's performance?
I thought it was lovely, very very awesome renditions, and I mean, yeah, props to him. I'll be honest, like I can never sing that good. He knows this. You know this. Everyone knows this.
You definitely have
So
lost more of the singing bets than anybody else on the show. So
yes, I have. I still cannot get over the fact of um was it was it Don't Forget About Us? No, it was the Mariah Carey song. But
We belong together.
there you go, that one. There
Man,
you go, that
I
one.
think once we knock out a few more of these singing bets, we definitely gotta do like maybe either a
A
five-a-side
trio?
draft of the
Oh
singing bets because
God.
there's
I'll be
some
honest,
legendary.
I think Spence would actually win them all, to be honest with you.
Oh, Spencer's got like the best ones, man. Obviously never gonna give you up. Uh,
Oh
dude,
my
I don't know
God,
about you.
dude.
I
That
don't
one
know, man.
never gonna give you
Hot take, really
never
early
gonna
hot
give you
take, but his performance of his Peso Pluma performance might be all time right now.
no, I still think his never gonna give you up takes the cake. Like that one is like legendary. I mean, think about it. We actually had it. Our followers, everybody, they actually enjoyed that version of Never Gonna Give You Up.
Yeah, I mean it's Rick Astley. You can't be mad. Okay, yeah, I guess, but definitely number two is Spencer singing "Ella Baila Sola." It bro, when especially when he hits the "Hey, yeah,"
I mean, I feel
bro,
you,
he
man.
hit. I was not ready for that at all. So shout out to Spencer, man. What a guy. What a guy.
He's a legend in the making.
But all right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and take a break. You guys are gonna hear a lovely, lovely ad, and then we'll get going with uh. You know what? It's not gonna be an overreaction, but it is something that we're gonna talk about before we get going with transfers. So there's that.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at RighteousFelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
And we're back. All right. So usually we always start things off with an overreaction. Well, this season at least we started out with an overreaction. And I don't know if this isn't really an overreaction, but just the Saudi Pro League MLS wins. That's all I gotta say on that one. It kind of with me and everyone, when we were talking about the rise of the Saudi Pro League. We were like, we've seen this happen before. We've seen this dance. We saw it happen with the Chinese Super League. I think Israel was also kind of doing. I don't know if it was Israel or India. I forgot what other league was, but I remember the Chinese Super League because
No, I think it was a Turkish league.
was it okay?
I think
Maybe it
that's
was
where
Turkish League.
I think it was like most of the people were going to Turkey and everything. Like, it
But
wasn't like,
it
oh my
was that
God.
thing where, oh man, look at all this money they're throwing at these players, and now they might compete with Europe with the players that they're bringing in, and there was a moment, I will say, there was a moment that I thought, oh man, the Saudi League actually might be might be here to stay. But there has been a bunch of rumors. I'm not saying that it is happening, but there has been a lot of rumors that a lot of these guys want out of Saudi Arabia. Like they want
And
to
there
leave like now. I
can
know
can I give you an example of who?
who
Jordan Henderson.
I was actually gonna bring that up. See, dude, I told you, Edward's my rib. But yeah, go ahead, go off.
It was Jordan Henderson, I believe. I believe even shoot, I was reading it was Jordan Henderson. Uh, I want to say that Cristiano Ronaldo was also a rumor.
I didn't hear
Um,
Cristiano Ronaldo, but I did hear Roberto
no,
Firmino.
he's Roberto Firmino was one, and
Benzema's
then
another one.
Benzema. Benzema's actually so I think Benzema might actually go to Manchester United on a 6 month loan.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of things. I know Manchester United was one that I heard. I also heard Chelsea, which I mean, I think everyone's gonna throw Chelsea because of Chelsea.
Yeah.
And then I think I also heard Arsenal, and then I think Firmino. I heard Fulham. I think Newcastle was a name as well. Also Gabby Vega. Gabby Vega, if you guys don't
Oh yeah,
remember,
yeah,
is
yeah.
the
Him too.
promising a guy that I actually rate very highly. I think he has a lot of potential. Chose to go to Saudi Arabia because of the money, and so there's been a lot of complaints about these players apparently uh aren't fans of the weather. Go figure. Um uh and then I don't necessarily think that the league is that big of a problem. I mean, the game is still the game. I know Benzema, one of his complaints is that he wants better players around him, which I mean, if you look at Al Nassr, I mean, I think there's a fair argument. But and I think they have like a rule where I think it's 9 foreign players. Like you're only allowed to have 9 foreign players per team, and I think they're working on fixing that rule by making it now 10. Wow, a lot of players. Um, just bumping it up to one
The
player.
only hey, think about it this way. The only player that's gonna be like the the player that's actually from Saudi probably gonna be the goalkeeper. And all teams, everybody else is gonna be like an outfield player, midfielder, defenders. At
Yeah,
that
dude,
point, I mean,
that's gonna be crazy. Look, I'll say this. Like, I do think that that league should be pushing a bigger approach as to developing, their own homegrown talent. Um, and I know this sounds very hypocritical as I'm a Real Madrid fan, and when you look at that roster, there's like almost hardly any Spanish players on that team. But and then even so, if you want to use the Houston Dynamo on me as well, because there's not a lot of Americans that are playing on that team as well.
mhm.
But I do think that there is like a certain obligation that the league has to develop their national team's players. And once again, this isn't even an old man yells at cloud. I just think this is just logical sense, especially if you're developing youth academies. But I mean, but kind of what we saw with the Chinese Super League, which was that was one of the things that they were doing was like, hey, that there's a limit of foreign players that you can have on your rosters, and the Saudi League already had it. I mean, 9. That does sound like a lot of players, to be fair, but I mean, when you're going after the big players, like going after Neymar, which I mean, he's not playing because he's injured. But when you're going after Cristiano Ronaldo, Kareem Benzema, when you're going after potential players like Gabi Vega, like when that's still that 9 players, that may, especially when you're filling out like basically a super team, I guess you can say,
Yeah.
of older players. Um, yeah, you're not gonna be able to. It's gonna become an arms race over there, and I think where adding an additional player may sound not that like, oh my God, now 10 players. But that is still pretty big. Like Edward said, like you can have an all-star roster and just have your Saudi Arabian goalkeeper. But yeah, I think like what happened with the Chinese Super League, it was eventually gonna happen with the Saudi League. Um, and it's happening now. So like you're seeing the issue, but I think like the level of competition, I don't think is like that big of a deal because I feel like the players that chose to go to Saudi Arabia, they knew what they were getting themselves into when they received that lucrative amount of money. Um, which is the same thing for the guys who went to the Chinese Super League. Like you knew what you got yourself into when you accepted that paycheck. Um, but I think
Basically, let's put it this way. Basically, it's like sexy signings, but also you already knew if you were playing in the Saudi league, you know damn well they weren't going to call you up for the World Cup if you were playing in one of those leagues because it's like they're not one of the major big leagues that it's powerhouse. You're not in the Italian league, you're not in the EPL, you're not in the Liga, you're not even in German league. So more than likely, like that's where all the World Cup players who play in clubs come from. You don't see them picking people like. Let's put it this way: Bato. We both know he was cold before he went to Shanghai, and after when he went to Shanghai, we never ever saw him play for Brazil. World Cup friendlies, anything. We never saw him play. Like we had figured like this dude just fell off the face of the earth, but he
Hmm.
was just in China. So that's one. Oscar, same thing. Once he was the one that he was the one that scored the only goal against Germany in that travesty of a game, and yet we were thinking, okay, he still has a few good years left. He still got some moves. He went to China. Boom, he disappeared as well. So it's like the if the federations, I guess, are looking at players who are also playing in the big leagues. Hell, you might even play in the MLS and they'll actually call you up depending
Hmm.
on where you're from. But when once you go to the Saudi league, the Chinese leagues, the Turkish Super League, like stuff like that, I don't think they'll look at you anymore like how you were like, oh, this dude was a beast when he was in the EPL. Now I look at him, he's still a beast, but he's a beast in a lower division. It's like saying this dude's a beast at playing in the first division of or like MLS, but now he's playing on Sunday leagues and he's a beast. I don't think I'm gonna pick him up anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But like I said, level of competition, I don't necessarily think was like the big deciding factor. But like, I know for certain with Jordan Henderson, um, obviously the laws in Saudi Arabia are going to be a factor because obviously, uh, more towards like the laws for women in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
Um, so they, it's not necessary, and this is another thing that I kind of thought could happen, but I didn't want to say it because that would make me seem like a dick. But like when you go to these countries, you have to respect their cultures. Like I think I understood more if you were a Muslim player. Like obviously you kind of already understand the customs and ideals of a country like Saudi Arabia. So like I don't hear that complaint from Karim Benzema, or at least I haven't seen any rumors that Karim Benzema is like bothered by that because obviously he's Muslim. And so but like obviously for someone that's not well informed of the Islamic culture, um, you're gonna think it's kind of ridiculous, especially you know, whereas you come from a culture where that's not that's not how you do it. You don't it's not done that way. So and this isn't me trying to take a jab at like the laws of Islam and the viewings of like the Islamic culture. Obviously what you believe is what you believe, and clearly people live go abide it. You know what I mean? But I can see someone that's an outsider who is used to living in a certain way having trouble conforming to that. Um, and maybe they can the Saudi League could view like some sort of exemption for them, but then that probably could also lead to a whole can of worms, which I don't see them doing in any way. But I think because that was another factor which a lot of these players are like, hey, my wife isn't really comfortable here because of the laws here, so it's probably another reason why they want to push out of the Saudi League.
yeah. And I like I think we all said it, and even with the whole, I don't know if it's still going on with the whole Cristiano Ronaldo thing, hugging that one guy that he took a picture, he hugged him, gave him an autograph T-shirt and stuff, and then supposedly he was like, oh, they're because it was a public display of affection kind of stuff. They were like, oh, um, you're gonna be fined or you're gonna face time in jail. Like what, dude? Like what? Like it's I don't want to say they're ridiculous rules, but I feel like they're just over the top to where it's like they really don't approve of certain
Yeah, I mean, and
um
that's their culture. I honestly, like, I'm
that's
not gonna
that's what I'm
say
saying. I
that
was
it's
like, I
wrong,
can't
right or
judge.
wrong. That's just what they believe in, and I kind of like what I just like I said earlier. Like to them, it's not crazy, but to us, yeah, it's like come on, this is a little ridiculous. Um, and obviously because we're used to viewing things in a different way, and like I said, these people have already been abiding to these rules way before we even existed. So like, I mean, but this also could have been a potential issue, especially for a lot of people that are in relationships or in marriages with people that are models. Like just gonna point that out. Or have children with models, and so yeah. So I think that like I'm not maybe they make their adjustments to Saudi League to be more accommodating. Do I see it happening? Maybe, maybe not. I don't really know. I can't tell you. I don't represent the government of Saudi Arabia. But if that doesn't get corrected though, I could see a lot of guys start getting turned off by the money's not going to be enough for them to come to the Saudi League. And I mean, we're seeing it now where, Antoine Griezmann is more interested in going to the MLS. Luka Modric, he said no to going to the Saudi League. I think he got offered a lot of money to go play for Al Nassr, and he said, "Nah, I'm good." I don't know where he's going, but I just know he's not going to Saudi Arabia. But like, more and more, you're starting to see more players like, yeah, I just rather not go there.
Yep.
Which is what happened with the Chinese Super League. Like me and Edward have seen this dance plenty of times now.
Yep.
So I mean, I think we all saw that coming. Am I saying that the MLS is now going to get all these players? No. I just want to be cocky because I know people were trying to compare the MLS to the Saudi League. But which that's apples and oranges. But at the end of the day, like this is what happens, man. Like it's going to take a lot more than money to get players to buy in the league, and especially when it's not necessarily the league's fault. I think once again, this isn't me saying that it's because of the league. I think it's just because of the rules that are in place in Saudi Arabia is what's going to make it hard for these players to want to go to those kind of destinations. Once again, unless you are someone that is Muslim, which, like for example, Karim Benzema, I thought it made a lot of sense for him to go to Saudi League because once again he's a Muslim, and it's easier for him to conform to those laws in Saudi Arabia, and so, but but for him, I think it's just because he wants to improve his chances of competing with Al Ittihad or no Al I don't know the team. I don't know the team they plays for right now. I lost memory. All I know is Al Nassr. I think it's Al Ittihad, which is crazy because he plays with Conte. But apparently I guess he wants more better players. But that's neither here or there. And but till that gets corrected, I think that we're gonna start seeing more guys opt out of the opportunity going to the Saudi League, even as enticing as that money is going to be. They're gonna not go there. Um, but yeah, so that was my little overreaction. Saudi League looks like it's falling apart. Um, maybe not falling apart is the right word. I just think it's going kind of how I expected it was gonna go. Probably a little bit sooner than I thought, because I mean Chinese Super League. We were talking that was a people were there was guys in FIFA, big players that were still in FIFA that I was buying off of the Chinese Super League when so yeah, I bet money isn't the only way to get players. That's all I'm saying. There's more to it. And you tried Saudi Arabia. You tried. But all right, we're gonna go ahead and start talking transfers. We're gonna get started with and for transfers, it's not like me and Edward go down one by one and speak of every single transfer like one. That's gonna make this episode way too fucking long. So we usually just kind of go down. If there's anything that we want to talk about, we'll stop for a moment and talk about it. But most of the time, it's literally just like let's get to it. Let's get to it. Being that we've been away since before Christmas, there's been a lot of transfers that's happened. So transfers, loans,
Yeah.
a lot of shit has happened. So so we're only getting we're not gonna talk rumors. We're just gonna go right into it. So kick things off. I didn't see if it was official or not, but I think well, at least not where I was looking through the sources, but I think it is official. I think Chicharito Hernandez is back with Chivas de Guadalajara. So probably the right thing to do, right? I mean, that's where it started. Why not finish it there?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool.
But yeah, and here we go. Donny van de Beek is out on loan at Eintracht Frankfurt. So, which I forgot he was even at Manchester United. Forgot he even
He's
existed.
dude. He's been there. It's just he's not got any burn at all,
Which is ironic because with Ten Hag, you would think he would
bro.
flourish.
Trust me. Trust me. I know.
I know. It's a very soft. You and Ten Hag is a very soft spot, soft conference. Not an easy subject for you. Um, but continuing on, Jordan Mihalovic is coming back from Europe to go ahead and join the Colorado Rapids. I'm going to tell you this right now. This will not be the last time you guys hear Colorado Rapids in this transfer, in this transfer discussion. Miles Robinson. Everyone thought he was going to make this big splash move to PSV. He said that he wanted more. He wasn't wanting to take the paycheck that he was going to get offered over at PSV, and instead chose FC Cincinnati, which, if you guys remember, that was the team that won the Supporter Shield. So that team just got significantly better. And obviously Miles Robinson is also Spencer's guy. So yikes. If you guys don't know, Spencer likes Atlanta United. I don't know. I don't know necessarily if he's like like aligned with an MLS team. I know now he lives in Seattle, but I did give him Miles Robinson Atlanta United jersey. So that, hey, welcome to the club. Now I'm not the only person that has like a very poorly dated jersey of a player. So that might be also a 3 up, 3 down topic one day, is our personal jersey collections.
Right.
Because I have a lot of down. Zach Steffen, man, he is leaving Europe and now he is back here with the Colorado Rapids, which is kind of funny because remember when Tim Howard left to play in Europe, went to Manchester United, then obviously went to Everton, and then when he came back to the MLS, where did he go play? The Colorado Rapids. So
yeah,
not making comparisons. These are two way different guys. One was a clear legend, and the other one just fell off and lost his job to Matt Turner. So,
damn.
I still think Zach Steffen's good, but I mean, it's hard not to pick Matt Turner though, you know.
Oh yeah.
So that's the only thing. Brandon Vasquez, another American player that a lot of people were thinking that he's gonna make the jump to Europe and try to push himself into the conversation for the possible 9 spot for the US, which I think at this point it's Balagun and Ricardo Pepi. I don't think anybody's getting added onto that battle anytime soon. Especially the way those two are. But Brandon Vasquez actually decided not to go to Europe, but he's not staying in the US as he is joining Monterrey. I didn't write it down, but I think Funes Mori. He used to be the striker for Monterrey. Now he went to Pumas, so they needed a striker, and so Monterrey went and got Brandon Vasquez. So
that's right.
So yeah, Brandon Vasquez now in Monterrey, which I don't know if I didn't really see him play. Liga MX already started. They started this past weekend. So it's gonna be intriguing to see him play there in Monterrey. Sergio Reguilon is Manchester United basically was like, yeah, we don't need you anymore, so they sent him back to Tottenham. So yay, I don't know. This is not like you're going to any other. You're probably in a worse situation. I'd rather be in Manchester United than be in Tottenham. So that's just me. That's just me. Eric Dyer of Tottenham is leaving Tottenham and reuniting with his boy Harry Kane over at Bayern Munich. This is to me the most bizarre signing I have ever seen. I don't get it, but hey, Bayern Munich got their guy. That's I don't really know what else to say about this.
You're like, they got their guy.
They got their guy. I mean, I didn't know anybody wanted him. But
what if Harry Kane was like, I want him?
Maybe Harry Kane said something.
That's what I'm saying.
Which would be really impressive because Harry Kane, poof. You need subtitles to understand what that guy's saying.
Yeah. Oh man. But imagine maybe not in Germany. Maybe they understand his English like German.
Oh, I get it. I don't. That
Like,
was a
oh, I know
terrible
what he's
German
saying.
accent. I
Yeah,
apologize
that
for
was
you.
really bad.
Timo Werner, Edward's guy, the person that's right now slapped in front of the InsertName FC logo. Um, he is going on loan from RB Leipzig to Tottenham. Um, he has not been the same guy since
He
he
has
went to
not.
Chelsea. It's crazy. He was such a highly rated striker till Chelsea happened. To be
Yep.
fair though, they were playing him out of position. They had him on the wing for some weird
And
reason.
they still have him in a wing.
Yeah, so
Like
yeah,
it's
he's
gotta
going
let
to
you. It's gotta let you know, like, bro, you playing me in the wrong position. I can't do shit here, bro.
yeah. Which I mean, his return to RB Leipzig wasn't necessarily that great either. He really wasn't doing much there as well. So maybe you can get his swag back at Tottenham. I don't know. I don't see it happening. I think Richarlison has been doing a pretty good job though. That's my one nice thing about Tottenham. So there you go. Take it for what you want. I'm not saying anything else nice about Tottenham. Um, but yeah, so Timo Werner, he's on loan with Tottenham. Julian Gressel, he is joining Inter Miami, which I think this is a really smart uh addition to Inter Miami. Because of one, Julian Gressel is like really good. I mean, you're talking about like like how Robert Taylor, right? The I don't know if he's Scottish or I think he's Scottish. Either Scottish or he's from the UK. There I'm gonna play it real safe there. He's from the UK. But Robert Taylor, I mean, one of the guys that really benefited from Messi coming in. You know, I think Julian Gressel like kind of can have a similar effect, which he's already a good proven MLS player. And to add that on to what is now a really fucking loaded Inter Miami team. I'm just gonna say this: if Inter Miami doesn't win the MLS Cup, then what the fuck are they doing? That's all I gotta say, dude. Because you have obviously you have Jordi Alba, Messi, Sergio
Sergio
Busquets,
Busquets, and now
and now
Luis
you got
Suarez.
fucking Luis Suarez, which that dude is gonna have so much ice bags on his knees every single fucking game. Dude, they better have like 10 ice baths just ready to go for these guys because they're definitely on their last legs. But Julian Gressel I think is a good addition for them. I think it's a good MLS move because you need to get MLS guys. Like you can't thrive in the MLS without guys that know how to play in the MLS. Like which I mean Sergio Busquets was at least like early when they were just started playing the MLS, they were just wheeling and dealing, and I think at one point their legs were just getting tired near the end, which is kind
Yeah,
of where they fell off. Obviously, Messi got his injury, um, and so like yeah, I mean it happened, but I think adding little additions like that, like adding a Julian Gressel, they added those young players from Argentina. I think it was like Facundo Farias, and there's another kid I just can't remember off the top of my head, but like these are kind of like the smart MLS guys that you would see come in, and you sprinkle them along with Messi and Sergio Busquets and Luis Suarez. Like this team is going to be nasty, um, which I hope you guys are saving up because these tickets are going to be very expensive.
yeah.
And I think
Aren't
season
they like?
tickets are sold out. Like they already sold out season tickets in Inter Miami. So
Hmm.
that's crazy. But continuing on, man, Cade Cowell, San Jose player. I think he's a little overrated if you ask me. He's just really fucking fast. Like if there's one thing that I need to say about Cade Cowell, the dude is just uh so Jose Tejas from GolzTV, his favorite phrase for these guys is a pace merchant. Um Sounds nice. It sounds it's like a really nice way to be disrespectful, I guess, to call somebody a
Yeah,
pace merchant. if you call me a pace merchant, which I don't think anybody would in their own mind would call me a pace merchant, but if you would have called me that, I wouldn't know that's an insult. That sounds kind of nice to be called a pace merchant. But Cade Cowell is joining Chivas de Guadalajara,
That's crazy.
an American. Technically, it does fit to the parameters of what Chivas does. If you guys don't know, Chivas de Guadalajara only signs Mexican players.
Yeah.
Cade Cowell has a Mexican mother. So loophole. He's also I do believe he also has a Mexican passport, which if you guys don't know, if your parents are from Mexico, I can't speak of any other countries, but I know it, so for me and Edward's case, me and Edward can become dual citizens because of our parents.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with if your parents are Mexican as well. So he's Mexican. He's Mexican American. He actually does have a Mexican passport. I do believe his younger brother is part of the youth system with Mexico. I know Cade Cowell was thinking about doing a potential switch over to the Mexican national team. Wouldn't be mad if you didn't. But yeah. So technically, this does fit to the parameters of what Chivas de Guadalajara usually does, which is signing Mexican players, because technically he is Mexican. It's just weird because he doesn't speak Spanish. So that's
gonna be weird. Yeah.
That's gonna be fun. So, but yeah, so Chivas de Guadalajara, Cade Cowell, Chicharito. All right, guys. So, just wanted to step in real quick here. So it as of right now, there is no official word of Chicharito signing with Chivas de Guadalajara. So yeah, so this, and honestly, me and Edward were both under the impression that the deal has already happened, but I've been looking everywhere, and there's nothing that has stated that officially that Chicharito Hernandez. I think the rumors are still pretty strong that it is going to happen, but as far as I know, there has no word of Chicharito joining Chivas. So yeah, there's that. At least you know someone's gonna speak English in there. I mean, I think that there is a lot of Mexican players that do speak, obviously, because there's a lot of Mexican American players as well. But like, like I was only like, it was only 2 years ago that I realized like Ochoa spoke English. Which that blew my mind. I was like, wow, did not see that company. But one of the random things that like Hector Herrera told me was that you'd be surprised that there's actually a lot of guys that speak English in the Mexican national team, and I was like, and not you, not me. So that was interesting. But yeah, Cade Cowell, that's gonna be a very weird Chivas jersey. I'm just gonna say that.
Cow.
You got Chicharito. I can't really think of any of the names. Is Briseño still playing there? I think Briseño still plays there. Briseño and Cal. Just okay. I might be keeping I'll be keeping an eye on Chivas this year for Liga MX, as obviously you guys know I'm no longer affiliated with a Liga MX team. I am just now strictly a Liga MX fan. So I'm gonna be watching some Chivas games because I want to see Cade Cowell do something. I don't know. People have been complaining about Chivas. It's crazy to think that this team was at the final a year ago. They were in the final for the Clausura. Got destroyed by Tigres, and so yeah, so they honestly haven't been good for a while, for a very long time, right?
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of complaints, but anyways, continuing on, I'll save this one for last just because I know everyone's gonna be very happy about it. But Sam Vines, another American player that went over to Europe, didn't pan out. Look, I'll give them E for effort. Like they tried to go to Europe and they tried to make something out of it. It didn't pan out, and I mean I'll give them credit for that. But hey, they learned a lot. They'll be able to hopefully apply that to when they come back to the MLS, which is Sam Vines. He is going to the Colorado Rapids, so Colorado's doing something. I don't know what it is, but they're doing something. So, keep it on the lookout. Some potential guys are going to the MLS. I would say Ethan Horvath is a guy to keep an eye on. I know that he might not go to the MLS. I think there's some championship teams that are interested in him as well. So Ethan Horvath might be a name that we'll see also at some point this month. But all right, Edward, the last one and the most important one, right?
Uh-huh.
Jadon
Yes, sir.
Sancho is returning to Borussia Dortmund on loan. I don't believe there's a buyback option, or I don't think there's a buy on clause, a buy option, for Jadon Sancho. Which, if you're Manchester United, you might want to take your loss on this one. But Jadon Sancho is back with Borussia Dortmund, and he also already made an impact. He did have an assist, this past weekend, so he's back, right? I mean, and he's rocking
He
the
is
10,
back.
rocking the 10
Yeah.
for Borussia Dortmund. Edward, you were happy he was coming to Manchester United. That didn't pan out, but now he's back with your club, Borussia Dortmund. How do you feel?
I feel great, dude. Like that's basically I mean, Borussia Dortmund, that's the thing. It's like they have good up and coming talent. But I mean, just adding Jadon Sancho on there, basically bringing him back. I know Rose was happy about that. He's got that little extra speed boost that he needs since he doesn't have it anymore. Like I'm not saying that Rose doesn't have it. It's just Rose is up there in age, and I'm pretty sure he can't keep up that pace at times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No, yeah. I mean,
but
this was kind of like you. It was you and me both like, bro. Borussia Dortmund needs to do this. Like
yep,
they need to make this move happen. Um, especially with the way the team has been. Like Borussia Dortmund, they haven't been terrible, but they're not the team that we're usually seeing from the Bundesliga. And that could be a lot of factors, but you expect them to at least be in that top three discussion, and I don't think they've been doing that so far this year. But adding Jadon Sancho, he's clearly hungry. If you guys saw that game, like I said, he got an assist in his return. He's hungry. He's trying to prove that he's not a flop. I think that there's a lot of factors going into what happened with Manchester United. I think timing wise wasn't great that it came off of that Euro final loss where he missed that penalty. Um, and Manchester United probably didn't do such a great job of giving him confidence because he was not playing for some weird reason. And so I think that was like a lot of factoring into why Jadon Sancho just didn't look like Jadon Sancho anymore. But it from what it looks like Marco Reus can pull a Whoopi Goldberg and get Jadon Sancho's groove back. So that's
how
gonna be.
Jadon Sancho got his groove back again.
Yeah, I love that one. But yeah, man. So no, smart move by Borussia Dortmund. You bring back somebody that is gonna that immediately uplift the team. I will say this: if you're Gio Reyna, you might want to start looking elsewhere. It just hasn't been working out. I think it's more so the manager for Borussia Dortmund just doesn't. I don't know what he just doesn't see in Gio Reyna, but like when Gio Reyna has been on the field, he has been very impactful. So I don't know. I think it's just the coach's fault. I think the coach is an idiot. But yeah, he's gonna have to look at some options. I know Real Sociedad is a name that I heard. And we'll see what happens with him because especially now with Jadon Sancho, I think that this is gonna shrink a lot of minutes for Gio Reyna. But we'll see what happens, man. But that is the transfers. Ended on a high note for Edward because obviously Edward needed a win, especially after Real Madrid won the. I'm not gonna brag about that. No one cares about the Spanish Super Cup. Um,
To be honest, I didn't even know until you brought it up.
oh,
That like I was
oh, they lost 4-1. Um,
oh damn.
yeah, but it's Spanish Super Cup. Who fucking cares? Um, but all right, the only headline that we're gonna talk about in this episode. So, it was something that was kind of been hearing around. It's not official, but the European court, I don't know which European court specifically, but it did rule that UEFA and FIFA preventing the European Super League is is not legal. So now the European Super League is back to being allowed to try to do that league. Um, I do believe I
Ah,
do believe Barcelona and Real Madrid are still active in that. Which is great because how I love seeing Fiorentino Perez's dumb face on every Bleacher Football post about the European Super League. So that's great for me. But so yeah, so the court ruling, so the European Super League could continue, but I've seen that a lot of the English Premier League teams have still been very clear that they are not going to be involved with it. Um, which cool, but yeah, but now they have changed the format. They have actually announced like the way that they want to run the league, and but just mind you guys that starting next season, after this Champions League's changing. Like it's not gonna be the same format. It's not gonna be the group stages anymore. It is going to be full on stupid. It's basically gonna be the Super League. So there's that. But the new format for the European Super League, if it does happen, there's going to be 3 tiers. You're going to have the Star League that has 16 teams, as well as the Gold League is another one, which I feel like that might be like, I guess, your Europa Conference League and your Europa League, if you will. And then you have the Blue League. I don't know.
Blue League.
This is like the most confusing like grading sheet ever. Like you get a blue star, you get a gold star. Here's a star. What was it? What was it? Michael Scott's like grading rubric. Stanley got an
Um,
A, Jim got like a thumbs up, and Dwight got a star.
oh yeah.
This is literally like what this is to me. Like I'm just like I can't tell what's better. Do I want to be in the Star League? Do I want to be in the Gold League? Or do I want to be in the Blue League? But the only thing that's different between the Blue League and the other 2 leagues is that the Blue League will feature 32 teams. Participation is going to be based on merit, so there will be no permanent members. So I will tell you this: one of the biggest complaints that I had about the European Super League, at least when it initially was brought up, that it was going to be strictly exclusive to the teams that were members of the Super League, which were obviously like the powerhouse teams of across Europe, and which English Premier League, Spain, and Italy, because I don't think Bundesliga and France wanted not PSG and Bayern Munich wanted nothing to do with it. But
Yeah.
this time the participation is going to be based on merit, so you have to qualify to be in it. So there is no permanent membership. The way they're going to set it up is going to be groups of 8, minimum of 14 matches per season, and then obviously once the group stages are done, you go into the knockout rounds. And then there's promotion relegation within the leagues. So I'm assuming if you don't cut it in the Blue League, you get sent down to the Gold League. Obviously you don't cut in the Gold League, you get sent down to the Star League. If you get sent down, if you're not good enough for Star League, you're out. And then new teams go into the Star League. Is what I'm assuming, and that's how the format's going to be. And then so champions and teams get promoted throughout this system. So it does open opportunities for other teams to get into this new tournament. European Super League also mentioned that there's going to be a women's competition, which will have 2 leagues of 16, which will probably follow the same format as the Star, Gold, and Blue League. I'm not saying that this is any better, but the way I've been seeing the new Champions League format, it's not terrible. So there is that. But yeah, so before I let Edward go off on this, here is a quote from the guys from the European Super League. The vision is based on extensive consultation with a wide range of football stakeholders across Europe and built on our core principles, including participation based on sporting merit and no permanent members. Participating clubs stay in the domestic league, which remain the foundation of European football. I mean, you got to qualify to get into this European Super League. You're still going to have to play in your league. Now that clubs can determine their own future at European level, We look forward to further engagement with broad set of football stakeholders to achieve the objective of all great sporting competitions.
Okay. Let me put it this way too. So what happens? Let's put. Okay, here we go. Here comes my stupid question, but also like kind of like a concern. What if they tie? Like, let's put it this way: like, what are they gonna do? Like, what they do in Champions League, where they grab first and second place, third place, fourth place, whatever, and then they just grab them along, and then do the league like that? Or are they actually gonna have? Let's put it ESL qualifying matches, kind of like if they were doing like the World Cup qualifying matches, like where they go off of that, or what then? And then if so, what happens if they tie? Like, what then? And that's also one way, I guess you could say, that the players can protest, and is that they could probably play and then tie the game 0-0, 1-1, what have you. I mean, at that point, would be like the outcome of it all? Like if everybody just ties and everybody has the same amount of points? Because I mean, from what it sounds like to me, it's like not a lot of clubs are actually for this, even though the big ones are. You know, and I'm coming. This is coming from Barcelona fan, and I know Barcelona's just looking for a way to make some money,
Well, they
and
need
I
a lot
know
of
they
they
could.
need a lot of money.
And then that's the thing, they need a lot of money. But I guess what they're not looking at is like we got to put in money to make the money. They're just looking at we can make money off of this, and I'm like, no, like it's not a good idea. This is me coming as a fan, but it's
Mhm.
also like you got to look at it like the long way. If your team is not playing up to par and you're expected to make money, but you also have to put money in, and let's say you get kicked out of that shit, your money stays there, and you're fucked.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I mean, no, there's no godforsaken way that they should really push this shit through. I'm being dead ass serious. Like
Yeah, I mean
you're
the
not.
the
It's
idea
just.
this is basically the Champions League format. Like I mean maybe not
It
the
is
Gold or Star League. I don't know which one's better or worse. Um
blue league,
or I
whatever
don't
the
know how
fuck.
Blue's better than Gold or Star. Like you, this
I
is
have
so
no
fucking
idea, bro.
confusing. Um
I have
I
no
will say
fucking idea.
the
I'm the same way.
I think at least what was better, at least better than what their last idea was, which was there was gonna be permanent members, right? So like Arsenal, Manchester United, Real Madrid, Barcelona, AC Milan, like they were always gonna be in the European Super League. Like that wasn't going to change. Whereas now it's an sort of an open system because if you really think about it, if you get relegated from the Blue League, at least from what I'm understanding, because this still sounds confusing as all hell to me. But then again, also the new Champions League format is also pretty fucking confusing. Even though it's just one big one big table. But the thing is with me is this doesn't necessarily make the game any better. I think that there's supposed to be some fancy investor that's supposed to be willing to first of all, there's gonna be a lot of fucking money. So that my question would be, where did you get all this money? Because like that's also a pretty sketchy factor. Um, and at the end of it all, like if let's say the European Super League comes into play, what happens with Champions League? Because because like the biggest complaint that all the players are having right now is that they're playing too many games. There's too many
Yeah.
games going on. So if the European Super League is added on along with Champions League, along with you know uh cup tournaments, along with the league play, and then FIFA's already trying to overkill everybody with the FIFA Club World Cup. And you also have to deal with international tournaments because it seems like every fucking summer there's an international tournament.
Yep.
At least what it feels like now. You got all these like dumb charity tournaments that are going to be played in Saudi Arabia. No offense.
And then
Um,
mind you still have international friendlies that happen year round.
yeah, and so like when do they get a break? Like the solution of Fiorentino Perez and Laporte, like I don't see how this improves the game. Like this doesn't improve the game. It just makes things more complicated than what it needs to be. You're adding more games. You're already putting so much on these guys' workload as it is. You know,
Oh,
what does
and
more
and
game?
oh,
Yeah.
no, keep going.
What does more games do? Like it doesn't do anything else. It just overworks them. So eh, I mean, if European Super League takes over Champions League, if that's what the solution is for them, it doesn't really change anything because same thing with Champions League. You have a guaranteed set number of matches, which is actually ironically like fewer than what the European Super League is offering because when you go into Champions League, you're guaranteed like what, 6 matches, right? That's from the
Yeah,
group stage. And then you go into the round of 16 and then you keep going. So at most, this thing they're saying at minimum 14 matches. Like 6 group matches, what, round of 16, so that's what, 7, quarterfinals 8, semifinal 9, final 10. That's less matches than what you're playing in the Champions League. And that's
yeah.
if you make it to the final.
Okay, and then also, okay, let me put it this way. Okay, maybe you can answer this. Are they going like if they make it to the Super League? Are they still going to be playing in Champions League, or is this going to be like a whole different animal? Like they're basically going to be like, okay, Champions League is going to be for the fifth and sixth place and seventh place of fucking league, but then we got the European Super League, and these teams are going to be part of that, or are they going to be like, okay, European Super League, but then also first and second place, third place go to Champions League? You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, that's the thing I don't understand. I don't understand this at all. That's where I get confused because does the European Super League replace the Champions League? Like,
Not even
is
replace it, but
no,
like,
but
does it
that's what I'm
over?
saying. Like, is this going to be another tournament or is this supposed to replace another tournament? Like, that's the part that where Fiorentino Perez and Laporta or whoever is the dumb fuck that's responsible for the European Super League, like that's the answer that I'm not getting. Is this supposed to replace the Champions League or is this supposed to be in addition to the Champions League? Because like I said, this is guaranteed 14 matches, which like I just mentioned, like if you make it all the way to the final of Champions League, you're playing in total 10 matches. The guaranteed
True.
14 matches compared to like the possible 10 matches is it's and then even then it's like less than half, it's less than half uh, of of what you play guaranteed in the Champions League. I mean, obviously qualifiers might be another thing to look into, but I'm really not going to dig deep into it. But in the Champions League, you're guaranteed 6 matches, whereas in this tournament, you're guaranteed 14 matches because you're playing in groups of 8. So I don't see this being a better option. Like I don't like at this point. Like I think it's just another venue to get more money. Which I mean, if you're gonna throw in all your money on this tournament that is still confusing the people, like why don't you invest it into the Champions League? I mean, because let's be honest, like most of these teams are more incentivized to win Champions League than win their league titles.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Especially the big teams, like especially the ones that continuously win their league, like what you call it, Bayern Munich, Manchester City, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juventus, um, Inter, AC Milan. Like those teams are wanting because they know that they can be in the top four. They can finish in the top four in their leagues. They're wanting the Champions League. Now, the question is like how much more money is this even going to bring them? Because you also have to look at it at a player's perspective too. And it's going to be like, I'm sure this is going to happen. They're going to be like, hey, so in this contract that we're writing up, this includes these European Super League games, right? Okay, well, for those games, I want this much extra money. You know what I mean? Like
mhm.
they're gonna be like, you guys are gonna overwork me. You guys are gonna, I'm gonna play for you guys and I'm gonna play my heart out. But I want the extra cash that comes with this, and I may want a signing bonus for this set tournament. And also, if we win it, I want my bonus for that too. Like, there's gonna be a lot of stipulations and a lot of players who are also gonna be thinking like that because I'm pretty damn sure they're not gonna be like, yes, I want to play in the European Super League because like no, I'm pretty sure the majority, if not all players are gonna be like, we're not gonna do this shit for the same wage that we're getting paid. Like if you guys are gonna make money, where's our piece of the pie?
Yeah, and this is where it's so confusing because I mean, like all this energy that's being thrown into the European Super League, like because you're not, you're not reinventing the wheel. Like I don't know what the hell Fiorentino. I want to know what Fiorentino Perez is smoking because I kind of want a little bit of that because like he's making it sound like this is a new thing. It's never been done before, and it's like no, it's another fucking tournament. It's not
It's been done before.
like this
It's
is
been
nothing
done.
new. This is not new. Like you didn't you didn't invent the wheel. Like you just reinvented it something. You're like, oh, we're gonna get these TV deals. Well, guess what? Champions League also has these TV deals. Like, whatever investor they're talking to right now, why isn't this guy like? Because this is a gamble. Like, honestly, like, and even with that, like, because Fiorentino Perez got this whole weird Kevin Costner thing going on where he's like, if you plant it, it'll grow, kind of thing. I've been watching a lot of Kevin Costner movies
I can
since the
see
break.
that.
But like,
You might as well watch Yellowstone, bro. Just saying.
what?
You might as well just watch Yellowstone.
I do watch Yellowstone. It's fucking
Okay,
phenomenal.
okay. It's
Um,
amazing. But anyways, plug in. But
but the point of it is just that like yeah, like if you plan it, they will come. Kind of whatever if you build it, they will come or whatever the hell it was from the movie, Field of Dreams. But like you're not doing anything differently. Like like I will say this, like with PK when he created that Kings tournament, right?
mhm.
Uh, he did something different, right? Because it was I think it was like what like a 7v. It's like a shorter game, and then you have like these wild cards where anything can happen. Like it was different. I don't know if it's still selling right now, but maybe he had to because he lost his Twigo or something. But like it was fun because it was different. This isn't what Fiorentino Perez is trying to sell to people isn't different. Like group, like your solution to soccer is more tournaments. Like you're not doing anything differently. Like you're just adding another tournament, which everyone's still confused by. Because is this replacing Champions League? Is this going alongside Champions League? Like, does this drop Champions League's value, or does this? No one knows what the fuck this thing is. And that's like the
Nope.
part where it's gonna be hard to sell people. Like if you were to put this in front of Shark Tank, no one's gonna invest in this because this is to quote is it Mr. Happy? I think it's Mr. Happy. To quote him, um this is a nothing burger. Like you're not this is like the guy that like is trying to tell you that I'm selling you wool caps, but it's just a fucking beanie. Like you haven't changed anything about it. Like there's nothing that like if anything this just tells me like whoever your investor is maybe should just go to UEFA and be like, "Hey, here's this more money. Go get a new TV deal so we can get more money on in this tournament to incentivize the teams to win the Champions League." I don't know. I don't think this tournament's gonna work out. One because no one wants to touch it with a 10-foot pole. The only two guys, I think there's one more team. I just don't remember what was the other team, but I know Barcelona and Real Madrid are at least fronting it, are being the faces for it. I mean, like I said, I don't know how many. I'm tired of seeing Fiorentino Perez. Like I don't need to see his face made of rubber. Like I just don't. I don't like the. I don't. I mean, I love what he's brought. What he's brought to Real Madrid. Obviously, look, Los Galacticos and Los Galacticos too. But the dude also has a very punchable face. Um, I love you.
Jeez.
I love you.
Nah,
But
I don't think you do, bro.
well, he's trying to push the European Super League. But like, it doesn't like you haven't sold me on anything of it. Like you're just here's this tournament. Cool. What makes it different from everything else? nothing. It's just another fucking tournament. So, and like I said, I'm not here when FIFA and UEFA try to stop the European Super League when it happened before, and weirdly enough during the pandemic. Like I wasn't applauding them for stopping them. They stopped them. I know a lot of teams bowed out of it after UEFA and FIFA got involved. But like the only and this is what I told Edward, and I said it on this podcast plenty on that at that moment. I was like, don't think that they're over here being like superheroes, like being the Cape Crusader in this scenario, because they're not. They're doing this because like, hey, I want some of that money. If you're not gonna give me that money, then I'm not gonna let this happen. You know?
Pretty much, man. That's exactly
like
what's
if the
going
European
on.
Super League really wanted to make this work, they should have just gave some money to FIFA and UEFA, because those guys are easily bought, like super easily bought. So I mean, like, there's literally a documentary about it. So
Yeah.
so like,
No joke, no lie.
so honestly, European Super League, Perez, if you wanted to make this so much smoother for you, you could have just gave some money to FIFA and UEFA, and this would have happened. But it didn't, and it's not going to happen because, like I said, the teams in the Prem are clearly not wanting to deal with it. I think it might be Juventus. Juventus might be that third team. I can't, don't quote me on it. I just know there's a third team. I know some people said Atletico Madrid, but they also bowed out pretty quickly too. But like they got out of it. So like, and it seems pretty clear that the EPL teams don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, especially how the fans reacted. Like the rule changes, like cool. It does improve at least to where it's not exclusive. But that doesn't change anything, because once you take that away, it's just another fucking tournament. And and I mean, UEFA's still trying to sell us on the Europa Conference League, which the only thing that's funny about it is now Jose Mourinho has that tattooed on him. So like, I mean, what else do I like? If I had to choose between the European Super League and UEFA's Champions League, Europa League, and Europa Conference League, I'd rather deal with those because I'm used to it now. And once again, it's lesser matches compared to the guaranteed 14 matches. Like, dude, like that's your selling point. When players are complaining about few matches, already that they're playing so many fucking games, your solution is, hey, at minimum you'll play 14. Wow, that sounds great. Like, sign me up. So, yeah, the European Super League. I don't think it's gonna happen. But now Perez at least knows that FIFA and UEFA can't stop him technically. But I do think that there's still a lot of obstacles in their way from this league to ever fucking happen. But that's not here or there. But yeah, I had to bring it up because it's bound to happen. It may or may not happen. I don't fucking know. I don't think it's gonna fucking happen. But yeah, European Super League. That's the thing, sort of. But anything else you want to say, Edward, before we move on from this debauchery?
No, you pretty much said it all.
All right.
I think we both said it all, actually.
Yeah. All right, so guys, we're gonna go ahead and take a break. And you're actually going to go into our preview for the 2023 African Cup of Nations preview with Moussa from Mo Football. I understand that it's 2024 and we're saying the 2023 AFCON. You'll get your answer when you hear the preview with Moussa, because Moussa is a very informative person. Check him out. The links to his channel will be on the description. Whether you're listening through us through podcasting sites or through YouTube, the link will be there available, so you guys can go ahead and check out all of Mousa's stuff, because he's very informed, especially in the game of Africa. So go ahead and check him out. So we'll go ahead and take a break, and then we'll get going with the preview for the 2023 AFCON. Hey guys, this is Hector from the InsertName FC podcast, here to tell you guys about Canada Dips. It is a great tasting, superior alternative to traditional dip, using CBD in a way that is radical, enjoyable, and effective. It comes in 5 core flavors: wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice. Canada Dip CBD is the new evolution in dip, allowing guys to enjoy great, long-lasting taste without the downsides. If you guys want to go ahead and try them out, use the code BellyUp20 at CanadaDipCBD.com. Once again, BellyUp20 at CanadipsCBD.com, and you'll get yourself 20% off your purchase. Thank you again for Canadips for being a great partner of Belly Up Sports. All right, guys, African Cup of Nations. I have a special guest, host of Mo Football. You can find him on YouTube and GolzTV. He's a member of the Golz family. Moussa, it's happy to have you here, man. Happy to have you debuting here with InsertName FC, man. It's always great to bring other content creators like yourself onto here. But first question before we ask anything else is, why football?
Why football? Yes. I pretty much grew up in soccer. So originally I was actually born in France. Okay. So born and raised, and I played soccer, and I also played academy soccer. So growing up, soccer was just it. And I also did another sport. Judo was also my second sport. So it was one of those things where, you know, soccer is everywhere. That's what you play in the street with your friends. That's pretty much a way of life. So that's pretty much what football came about for me.
All right, that's awesome. And of course, you have your channel, Mo Football.
Yes.
Do you specifically cover any league specifically, or do you just talk all football that's going on?
So originally, I started with more of this MLS because St. Louis just got their new team. So that's what kind of got me going with the whole creating things for the team. And then I think I started with memes and GIFs for some reason. And then it just led to spending a lot more time creating content for the MLS team. And then it started to kind of look like, the off season started. So there was a lot less noise around soccer/football. But on the other side, there was still the Under-17 World Cup that was happening where people were not really talking about it. And then there was all the other leagues that were still going on, but there was not much to talk about. So that's what kind of led to me starting to covering other aspects of it. And then just starting to meet more people from other teams, other countries, leagues. And it just led to me going more of the STL related content to more of a broader one. So I watch maybe 20, 30 games a day if possible. So why not just share everything that I learned and help some of our US-based friends do a little bit more about, football outside of MLS or the small USL teams around the US.
No, yeah, I mean, that's great. And I think that's like one of the best parts about like being able to work with other soccer content creators, just seeing like what's their motivation, their reason behind it. I mean, I'm just an idiot that just loves talking soccer, and apparently people like listening to me for some weird reason. But
we all are. We're no experts. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah. So, African Cup of Nations. I'm a big fan of this tournament. I think it's so underrated. It needs more coverage. It needs a better coverage. Fox, step your game up.
Yes.
I know you can watch it in BN Sports. I know for a fact that it's on BN Sports, which that's also the other channel that I end up watching a lot of. But it's gonna be on BN Sports. The host is the Ivory Coast.
Yes.
Now, is labeled the 2023 African Cup of Nations. But we're playing it in 2024. I honestly have no idea. I did a lot of research and I still can't find my answer. By any chance, do you know exactly why?
Yeah, I think it's more post-COVID related, because the tournament was supposed to happen the year before that. And I think it more has to do with budgets and marketing and maybe titles and names that were already printed. And I will expect that, the tournament is not as big as like the Euros, so they don't have billions of dollars to just scratch off and go on and start a new marketing process. So I'm pretty sure it's due to COVID and just, not having the funds like at the tournaments. Like, I think the Euros, you see countries that, the country that wins the tournament probably would get 20 million or $50 million to share for the winning team. And the winner of the AFCON, or for the French speaking ones, it's actually CAF that they call it. So it's CAF for the French speaking and AFCON for the US base. the winning team gets, I think they just upgraded it now to 4 million.
Wow.
So there's a huge difference on, what the winning team gets compared to the other tournaments.
No, yeah, I totally that's a crazy thing to point out. I feel like CONCACAF's probably around the same realm. I mean, when there, you only have two real big countries. I know people like to talk about Canada every once in a while, but really just Mexico and USA. But yeah, I mean, for those teams, it may not seem like a lot, but if by a miracle El Salvador somehow wins, Gold Cup, that's a lot of money to them. So I mean, so I would imagine maybe while we might be looking at 4 million, like really that's all they're getting. I mean, for some of these African nations, I mean, that's an instant improvement for some of their facilities right there.
Yeah, especially for a country that probably those guys are not even pros or semi-pro. That's a life-changing.
Yeah, so I think definitely need to find Fox, step your game up, get some more money into this, man. Because I mean, like I said, AFCON. If you want to talk about football in its purest form, I think Africa. I mean, we got these teams in England and Italy and every all across Europe, that are grabbing players that are African, and you've heard the great names of African players from, Adebayo, dang, I'm drawing a blank. Drogba. I don't know how I drew a blank on that one.
Oh,
but
yes.
Drogba.
That's my go.
Samuel Eto'o, like just legends of African players. And it's crazy to think that there's only one player that has ever won the Ballon d'Or that is African, and that is, of course, George Weah, son of Timothy Weah, who's my dog. But, before we talk about the African Cup of Nations, and this was something that me and Edward talked about last AFCON, which was, specifically looking like at Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah, like, man, if they can have a good AFCON and pile that onto their season, there's no, can you make a solid argument for them for the Ballon d'Or? Unfortunately, they did well in AFCON. They just didn't do well in the season. But when you look at least the players, might be some of the same, the two names I just mentioned right now. But is there any other player, or maybe reiterate these two again, which is Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane, that if they're able to pull off a really solid performance in the African Cup of Nations and hopefully sprinkle it in on top of a good season currently with their teams, is there a player right now that you could think of that could make a strong statement for the Ballon d'Or?
I will probably say Victor Osimhen from Napoli. And he plays for Nigeria. So he pretty much carried Napoli to win this Scudetto in Italy. And I think he's probably the closest striker to probably win it. It pretty much, to all fairness, he's the last one that taken Napoli to win the Scudetto, and the last one was Maradona. So I will assume that if he goes into the AFCON and just score 10, 15 goals, and then Nigeria makes it to maybe semifinal, he will have it'll be kind of fair to say, hey, he earns at least the call out. Unfortunately, for the history has shown that African players have not been the top 5 much. Mane, which was the closest. So it's one of those things where it's still a wish as much. He will need to have at least like a perfect World Cup, and then have CAF to follow that, and then have a crazy season to actually probably dethrone someone. But who knows now these days? Ronaldo and Messi are no longer here. So now it's open for a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. I would have loved it to see Sadio Mane. I mean, the guy has like one of the best stories, just in football in general. Just him being an overall good person. Probably still has that same broken cell phone. But hey,
he just built a stadium in his village. He
did. So I mean, I would love to root for him. Unfortunately, I think because he plays in the Saudi league, I'm sure the French riders are not going to be looking at him as heavily. But you mentioned Osimhen, which that great player, a fun player. Hopefully, somehow Real Madrid can get him.
No, Chelsea.
Oh well. But I mean, when you look at Mohamed Salah, I think he's having a pretty good season so far with Liverpool. I don't want to. This is like the boring pick, but I think obviously Egypt. I'm in AFCON. They're a powerhouse. I think they're the ones that want the most African Cup of Nations of all of CAF, and so I mean I think if he can once I have another standout performance, maybe gets to win this year, this season.
Yeah.
I think Mohamed Salah could probably make a good argument. I mean, the way Liverpool's looking right now this year, it could be his best shot, especially where Messi's now in the MLS and
Right.
Ronaldo's in Saudi Arabia. So this might be Mohamed Salah's best bet, which is crazy because some people were writing him off when after how he performed last season, but yeah, so I mean, I'll go with the boring pick in Mohamed Salah. I don't think there's any way that Thomas Partey could make an argument, but
Nah.
no.
Yeah.
But for you guys to understand, African Cup of Nations, it's 6 groups of 4. The teams that advance to the knockout rounds is the group winners and the group runner-ups and the 4 best third place teams. So if you guys have never watched African Cup of Nations, it's very similar to Copa America. I just would say that this is maybe a little bit more of a larger scale than Copa America is, unless you add CONCACAF into it, which will be this summer.
Yeah, and they increased. They added more countries this time around too. So
yeah, I did remember that because there's a lot more groups than last time. So I definitely so makes things even more. I think it's great. I mean, we saw the Women's World Cup when they expanded. The competition got significantly better, where it wasn't just the U.S. women's national team. So I think when this opens up competition, opens up upsets. So I love it when they expanded as well. But all right, we're gonna look at the groups, Matt. So Group A, host nation Ivory Coast, Equatorial Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, and Nigeria. And luckily Musa's here, so he can verify if I'm saying these right or not.
you got them all right. Yes.
So when looking at Group A, is it wrong to not? Well, actually, with Nigeria in that group, I feel like Nigeria should be winning this group. But is the home field advantage important in African Cup of Nations?
I would say yes, extremely yes. But I think especially where Ivory Coast kind of missed a lot of their, we'll say, top players. So like almost anyone now these days, you couldn't really call out one of their top players. Mm-hmm. Where before, you had Drogba, and then you were like, oh, he's going to score 5, 6, 8 goals. They're covered. So I think it's probably likely that it's their home country that, there's that extra push. But I see it more of a Nigeria, Ivory Coast, and Guinea, and then Equatorial Guinea too.
Okay.
On the table.
Yeah, I agree completely with you. I think Nigeria just overall, always to me one best jerseys, but also just like overall, just like one of the stronger teams. It's still crazy to me that they didn't make the World Cup, but obviously World Cup qualifiers for Africa is a little bit different than others. And but yeah, Nigeria I think is a very strong team, and unfortunately Ivory Coast, the only name I can think of is Nicolas Pepe, and
yeah, you saw what happened to him.
Yeah, we saw what happened to him, and who's that player from Barcelona? Kessie.
Yeah,
I haven't heard from him.
But I think it's probably more on the defensive side. So they like one of their top scorer. I couldn't pull that out of my head.
Yeah. So
unfortunately.
Well, at least I can somehow see Pepe again, I guess. The guy who robbed Arsenal. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault. Someone paid for him. But Group B, we have Cape Verde, Egypt, Ghana, and Mozambique.
Yes.
Oh, look at that. I'm not butchering names like I usually do. Okay, Egypt and Ghana here. I mean, I mentioned it earlier. Egypt, one of the most successful teams in AFCON. Ghana, maybe not the same Ghana from years before.
Correct.
Definitely not the same Ghana. But is that the two teams to be looking at in this group?
I think on paper and based on history, yes, it should be pretty much Egypt and Ghana, and then Mozambique, and then Cape Verde. But Ghana's been playing so poor these days, and they got butchered by the US, which was quite surprising. So I think there's the one that I'm still questioning how well they will do. But Mozambique's been playing pretty well these past couple of years. So it's almost like a toss between Ghana and Mozambique to make it to the second place.
Oh man, I mean that'd be awesome. I'm not awesome, but obviously Ghana to somehow choke out of this would be definitely, I think, bulletin board material for anyone. But yeah, you're right. Ghana, this team used to be. I used to fear Ghana. I don't know why I feared this team.
Well, they had some bad guys playing. Like Asamoah was one of those guys where was flying all over the field and butchered quite a lot of people. And those AU brothers also were, guess at their top, they were all over. So it's one of those things where Ghana also had some of the best jerseys and some of the most in shape guys. So if you were looking at their jerseys, they were like, very muscular, tall, 6'2" guys.
To when you're wearing those Puma jerseys, because
So that's the one that kind of hurts a little bit, knowing that one of those powerhouse is not doing as well. But it's the AFCON, so they might rise up because this is for Africa title.
So you said if it's not Ghana, it's going to be
Mozambique.
Mozambique.
Yes.
All right, so that I'm gonna definitely keep a close eye on that one then, because these are now the countries where I don't really know much of. But all right, so Egypt, I agree. Egypt should win this one. I'm gonna just not knowing much. I'm gonna say I think Ghana finishes in second, but I do feel like this is the way they played against US, and that was a friendly.
Yes.
And US has not been. It's not even like a good US team. They have not played well. That's just my bias for Greg Berhalter, but
that's a whole another discussion.
To do that and perform like that, yeah, this could probably be a team that doesn't even not even get that third place spot. So Group B is going to be interesting. Group C, Cameroon, Gambia, Guinea, and Senegal. I know that there's a lot of eyes for you on this one because I know you're Senegalese. Yeah. Is Senegal, is this their group? Is this their group to win?
It has to. And I will say it's probably because we still have our generational wealth in Senegal now, that we pretty much have, top striker. Well, I guess we'll say almost striker, because Nicholas Jackson, Chelsea, he's still, even though Chelsea's not doing so well, he still has 5-6 goals, and he's still young, and his first season. And then the midfield, we have Papsar, and then we have Mane. So we have like strikers, midfielders, and then in defense, we're all solid. And we also have Mendy in goal that won the Champions League with Chelsea. So it's like we almost have every single positions covered, and you're the defending champ. So the expectation is for them to get out the group up top, because they're pretty much has the hype behind them.
I'm assuming that their competitor is going to be Cameroon, even though we're talking about Andre Nana, who his confidence is probably right now not at the highest that it could be, but maybe coming back to Cameroon, maybe he finds that spark again of being the goalkeeper who I thought he was going to be before the way this season panned out for him. But can Cameroon compete? Whether maybe not for the top of the group, but finish in second.
I would say yes. I guess traditionally, they should. So yeah, I will definitely say there should be at least one or two, depending on how they feel. It's always the first game that will determine how well those teams do. Mm-hmm. So if Senegal gets to win their first game or second, they may field a weaker team, so that will kind of determine that part. But Senegal Cameroon that game will determine who's first and second, unless something go really bad.
Okay. So Group C is going to be an interesting one. I'm with you though. I think Senegal's always been a fun team to watch for me. I always enjoyed their playing. I see more players that have that dual citizenships where it's French and Senegalese, that I see a lot more players go more towards Senegal. It's not very common. I know that it's not, but I do see more of these French players that do choose to play for Senegal. And I think that's
Yeah.
definitely a big benefit for what Senegal has now.
Yeah, it's just based on the history since Senegal was a French colony.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you will see that a lot of players like myself do, where I was born in France with Senegalese parents. We do have dual nationalities too. And you'll see a lot of those players. To be fair with them, is that France right now it's stacked probably for the next 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you're like the top, the top of the top, and they already sign you to the national team, you most likely won't make it to France.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these guys that you see have either played in France or play in the French academy. So they all relate to each other somehow. And Mane just went to Lens in France before he went to England. So there's always that connections that you will see for a lot of those French countries.
Mm-hmm.
Any African countries you see that speak French most likely have players will dual nationality, and then you have to determine how close you are to that home country.
Yeah, I think one of those things is you always see that graphic of like the French players that could play for an African nation,
Yeah.
and
all of them, almost
all of them. So it's a definitely interesting list.
Yes.
But Group D, we have Algeria, a team that I know has had recent success in AFCON. I don't know if I feel like they're kind of dwindling right now though. That's just my opinion right now. Angola, which I believe is Portuguese influence, correct?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. I paid attention in history class.
There you go.
Burkina Faso and Mauritania.
Yes.
Did I get that right?
You nailed it.
Dang, it's like as if I do this professionally or something.
you got 4 groups perfect. So yes, keep going.
But all right, I'm gonna tell you. I'll be honest with you. Besides Algeria, that's the only thing I know from this group.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at this group, is there a team that just screams at you that this is the favorite? Because to me, I'm just gonna say Algeria because that's the only country I know.
Yeah. So I will say Algeria, yes. And I might be a little bit biased too for some of those guys because they're pretty much like the Senegal part where a lot of them are also dual national. So we do know some of them. Mahrez is probably the one that pops up the most because he was at Man City and he also played in my club team when I played in France and lived in France. So a lot of them do have also European style of play, but Algeria, I wouldn't sleep on them at all.
Okay.
For second place, that's where the toss-up goes. Burkina Faso, they're youth players, so when they go to like U17 World Cups, they do extremely well. But then that's where their senior team kind of dwindled a little bit. But I definitely see Algeria, Angola, Burkina Faso, and then Mauritania for those 4.
Okay. Burkina Faso is basically Honduras. That's because like their U17 team does very well, and then as soon as they move up to the senior team, apparently they forgot how to play. So.
Or else they do well, and then when the competition moves up, it's a different ball.
It's different when you have to play against a grown man. So I mean,
yes.
So that's very true. Group B, we have Namibia.
Yep.
Okay. South Africa and Tunisia. So I know of Tunisia, and I think they've actually gotten a lot better recently. So I would assume Tunisia is definitely a team to look at. I haven't seen South Africa since they hosted the World Cup, so I don't know how they're doing now. But when you look at Group E, what's the real competition in here?
I think that one will probably be when we always look for a group of death in World Tournament. This one will probably be it, because you have Tunisia, and then you have Mali, and then you have South Africa that are like the staple names.
Okay.
And if you look, for example, South Africa, their last friendly was against Morocco, and they beat Morocco. So they're like running on the high down because Morocco is the it country now because of their World Cup performance.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mali, their U17 team in the last U20 World Cup, they went all the way to the semifinal, and they're the one that scored the most goal in the whole tournament, and they only lost to France in penalties, and there was a red card in it too. So they're also running on the high, and a lot of those guys will be playing for Mali as well. So that one is the hard one to think of, but it's probably going to be Tunisia, South Africa, Mali, and then Libya.
Okay, so this is the group of death.
Don't quote me on that one. That's going to be a tough one.
So the group of death will be Group E. See, I'm liking this because I'm learning about this, about South Africa, Tunisia, and Mali being staples in Africa. So I actually am really enjoying this. But yeah, Tunisia has been a name that I've seen a lot. So I'm definitely thinking Tunisia is going to win this one. And then Group F, we have I look at DR and I think of Dominican Republic. I know that's not what it is, but
we call it DR Congo. Yeah,
the Republic of Congo.
Yes.
So what's the D?
I'm sorry. Oh, now you, because it's in French.
Oh, okay. So
I might have to do a quick Google on that one. It's Democratic Republic of Congo.
Oh, Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yes.
Okay. Morocco, Tanzania, and Zambia.
Yes.
Okay. Morocco, I'm assuming that this is the team that's going to have the target on their back. This is the team, like you mentioned earlier, made it to the semifinal of the World Cup. Was pretty close to making it to the final.
Yes.
So they have the biggest target on their backs. They have the names, obviously Hakimi, a guy that plays as a fullback but can score a lot of goals as well for you. But this is the team that everyone's probably going to be deeming the favorite, I'm assuming, to win AFCON this year. So aside from Morocco, who is that team that's coming behind them?
So I haven't followed much of those other three, but based on history, Congo should be second, and then Zambia, then Tanzania. But this one is one of those dark horse group. But pretty much the way they have it now listed on the groups, it's probably how it should be. But then that's the beauty of the tournament, is that knowing now that you have Morocco on your list, they might step up their game a little bit to kind of show them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, pretty much the way they have it listed down, Morocco, Congo, Zambia, and Tanzania should be as it goes.
Okay, I agree with that one. Obviously, we mentioned the group of death is Group E with Mali, Nambia, South Africa, and Tunisia.
Yes.
But for you, what is that group that you're like, this is going to be the most entertainment value? That's the group that should be watched.
Ooh. That's a tricky one, because the way they have it built, if you look at all of the groups, you'll see that all of the, we'll say the top teams, except Group E, the first pool and the second pool were like the big countries that are known. And then Group E is the only one that has South Africa in third. So it's kind of hard to say on that part. But probably Group A or Group C will probably be the most one that you want to watch, because A has Ivory Coast and Nigeria, and then C has Senegal and Cameroon.
Yeah, I think I like the balance of Group A. So I think that's for as far as entertainment value, I think that's where I would go to. I think with Group D is just learning about Angola, Burkina Faso, and Mauritania. Because we know about Algeria, but I think also could be very entertaining because you're going to see three countries that you don't normally get to watch.
And so I personally, for me, I think Group D would be my fun group, my entertaining group that there's gonna be a player that I'm gonna see and instantly gonna say, Real Madrid, go buy him. So
It happens.
yeah, it does happen a lot. So I agree with that. All right. Every tournament always has that one dark horse team. You mentioned the last AFCON was Mali, who was pretty close to winning the whole thing. Who is that dark horse team this season that could really ruin one of these heavy favorites' chances?
That's a good question. So I think yes. So I'm looking at the schedule. I don't know. We'll say the dark horse. I'll probably give it to Mali. And the only reason is because that's the way I saw their U17 play at this World Cup. And they were, I guess, so free flowing. And I think they were scoring 3 or 4 goals a game. So if some of those guys are moved up to the first team, they might make some noise. Because if they just beat Tunisia or South Africa, then everyone will be talking about them.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a good one. I'm gonna go with Ghana. I know that it's normally viewed as a team that should be competing well in this tournament. Right. I think the bar is set very low on them right now. So I mean, at this point, why not be the spoiler of the tournament, if you will? So I think
the bar might be low everywhere else except in Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
I think for them, it's you got to win it.
So they have like a chip on the shoulder, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
So the chip is on the shoulder for Ghana. So I mean, that to me is just dark horse, right then and there. But there's got to be a favorite, right? So for you, I know you got Senegal. I know Senegal is your country. And hey, I wish I could say El Salvador could win the Gold Cup, but that's not happening. But
yeah, you never know.
Oh, I know. But so obviously, I know you have your love for Senegal, but are they your favorite, or is there another country that you feel is the real heavy favorite to win this?
I think I would say we'll say 3 favorites. That are like almost the one that would make total sense, and then 2 that are possible that I wouldn't be surprised if they do. Of course, Senegal, and then there will be Nigeria and Morocco. Those should be like the ones that, if they win it, we're like, okay, it makes sense. The second layer will be more of like the Egypt and who did I forget? And Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
Those will be the ones that I'm like, okay, that it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little down on Egypt because, you can have Mohamed Salah, but he's just 1 out of 11. And, if you put Hakimi against him and you say, hey, Hakimi, you're now midfielders and you're a CDM and you just cover Mohamed Salah for 90 minutes, then what happens?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm a little bit down on Egypt because, there's 11 guys and Africa can be very rough on top players. So they will make sure to, silence him first.
Mm-hmm. No, I think with me, it's who has the best team, who's played together the longest. And I feel like that's usually what you have, that, especially in AFCON. I feel like it's more of that's the real gem of it all to win this tournament, because Gold Cup you can have a whole. I mean, we've seen C teams win that thing with Mexico and USA. Copa America. It's just, when is Messi going to choke? And I mean, recently it ain't looking like that's going to happen anytime soon for Argentina now. But it's always about, for me, when it comes to African Cup nations, is the best overall team. And I mean, when I look from top to bottom, to me it is Senegal. I know Morocco has that expectations from them, but I from what I've watched Morocco in this tournament, they don't look like the Morocco that I see in the World Cup. don't know what happens there, but
Yeah,
when I,
and maybe it's one. Maybe still there's maybe a lot still on high of the World Cup because they got beat by South Africa.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it's one of those things where you start to see countries that are maybe not used to doing so well in tournaments that the bar is then put so high that then the rest is kind of like, hey, if you don't do anything as good as you did, then that's where we're starting to see a little dip on
Mhm.
it.
So yeah, so for me, my favorite is Senegal. I think Senegal can honestly go back to back. I think it's actually really possible. I think they're in a, not saying it's an easy group, but definitely a winnable group for them.
Issue.
Um, I mean, at that point, it's just how the knockout round will look for them is the next question. But I think with Senegal is the mentality is there, uh, the coaching is there, the team is there. Like I always felt like whenever I watch Senegal, it's always been to me it's just the best well played team that I've seen from an African country, and that's one of the reasons why I have a lot of fun watching Senegal. So I'm definitely going to be rooting for Senegal to win this whole thing.
Great
Not
choice.
no bias by all means that we have a Senegalese supporter, a man that has Senegal. Are you a citizen of Senegal or are you
Yes. So I
okay?
have one of those dual nationals, the fun part. That's the part where it hurts when, France plays Senegal, where um then you have to
Play
sit
against
in
your
the
next door
middle.
neighbor.
Yeah, I pretty much have to stay in the middle, or it's one of those you're happy because one team won, you're not happy then the others, and it's it's hard to be a dual national. Most people don't understand that.
I mean, I see. Like you come from two countries that are good at the game.
Yeah, that might help.
I'm from the U.S. and El Salvador, so it's real
But
easy to pick which you I want to see win.
well, I think it's almost like um and I think there's so much of the big thing about those two countries is is this former colonized
Mhm.
country, and then some players decide to play for one country then the other. um it makes it fun, and both countries then makes it very fun too, because if you're in France and you have a city full of Senegalese and it's everyone's celebrating and then it's mad. So, and I think that's probably one of those nice things about the AFCON too, is that there's even though it's one country, there's always a tie to someone else in those other countries. So
Mhm.
like Hakimi is, I'm a big one on him because he plays for PSG, which is where I grew up and played soccer at. So it's like, if Senegal does not do well, the whole continent goes for the country that's doing well. Just
Mhm.
like Morocco and the whole continent of Africa was for Morocco when they were doing well.
Mhm. No, I definitely agree to that because I mean, especially for like the Latinos, we, when our teams get eliminated in any sort of tournament, we always root for the Latin team. Which
Yeah.
for this World Cup, obviously, it was Argentina. Like the whole Latin, okay, maybe not all Latins, but definitely, good majority of Latins were rooting for Argentina. I'm sure it was also for Messi, but
I think most of it was for Messi.
definitely for Messi.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, it was so I definitely understand that feeling of just rooting for your country. I know for me when I see a Central American player, Keylor Navas, the guy is one of the guys I love rooting for because he is Central American. He's moving away from that stereotype that Central Americans cannot perform in the highest level. Man's a three-time, Champions Cup winner, Champions
Yeah.
League winner. So
I think he was probably one of the most underrated goalie, and he got shown way too much disrespect for what he accomplished.
exactly, and that's always been
Yeah.
my soapbox for so many years now.
Oh no,
Uh,
he's one of my favorite goalies because he shouldn't be how he got treated in, I think, Real Madrid and then even PSG and all that. That I think he got shown a lot of it, especially for what he won
mhm.
and who he played with.
Oh, I agree 100%. But before we wrap this up, man,
Yes.
tell the people why they should be watching the African Cup of Nations.
Why? So I will say, you know how I tell people is like when you watch the NFL in football, right? Where they're scoring a touchdown, their celebration is almost like subdue, or they're kind of don't really want to do much of that. In the AFCON, I can almost guarantee you every single goals that you will see, it will be a celebration, and the whole entire stadium will go nuts, and even the one that does the team that you scored against. And the other part is like there's sort of a kind of a pride when a lot of those African players play, because now they know that it's their time to showcase that the continent has more to offer than what people kind of perceive it to. There's also that big argument to where you saw how it's in January, the AFCON. So there's certain teams, club teams, that will not release their players on time. Like Onana with Manchester United, you see how they had that agreement to say, hey, he can play this last game and then we'll let him go to your national team. You will almost never hear that for a European country for their Euros. So there's always that one pride where, they go back and play in front of, their people, we'll call it. And then it's put more eyes on the continent. And from what you can see now, they're building brand new stadiums all over the continent just for that specific reason, to show that, African soccer, it's more than just those 5 or 6 players you hear from. So it's just the pride of it. Everyone's happy. You will see that it's more than just playing for themselves when it comes to those tournaments.
No, I 100% agree. It is definitely one of the celebrations is definitely very exciting. I think I have more fun seeing them celebrate than actually them playing. But it's like it's at its purest, and I think that's one of the things that I love so much about Africa. And honestly, they play the game beautifully. I think a lot of the influence of what people think of Joga Bonito comes from Africa. Like that is, this is the true originators of Joga Bonito is in Africa, and I think it needs to be showcased so much better. So I can't wait for this tournament. So,
and also they're playing more offensive. There's a lot less defense, and you will see that it's more free flowing than the whole tactical that you see often in club teams. These teams literally goes forward, and there's a lot more goals than World Cups. I think last CAF had more, if I believe, than the Euros. So
okay,
but yes, they score a lot of goals, and those smaller countries go crazy against. Like if you'll see like Angola and others, there's no hold bars. Those shin guards need to be strapped high because they're coming.
So to you Americans that complain that soccer is low scoring, that you probably want to watch African Cup of Nations, because you'll see some goals. But Moussa, thank you so much, man. Thank you for coming in. Thank you to talk about African football, because we here at InsertName FC is literally InsertName FC. We throw whatever the hell you want to put in front of it, because that's really what we want to talk about.
I love that name. I think I tweeted you that, but yes, it.
So it was great to have you on. We'll definitely try to get you back on to talk about the knockout rounds when we get to that part. So if you obviously, guys, this is going to be dropped actually after the African Cup of Nations starts. And that's just because me and Edward do not know how to look at calendars. So we're actually it's going to come in later, but you will see this interview available on BellyUpSports YouTube channel. So another place where we can showcase Moussa as well. But Moussa, thank you so much for coming on, and this is your time to go ahead and promote whatever you want to promote for your channel.
My pleasure. And so I will be streaming a lot of those games, maybe a little early, but under my Mo Football podcast, and also on YouTube. So everything is either Mo Football, STL, or Moussa Seka, which is my handle. So you can just Google that, and I should be all over the place. So I will be doing a lot of MLS as well when the season starts. And I have a lot of interviews coming up, I think very soon. And one is probably you guys you might be interested because they have one of a player from Florida, Santi Castilla, if I spelled his name right. He went straight from high school in Tampa, and now he plays in third division Germany as we speak.
Oh,
And
wow.
yes, and I will be covering also the St. Louis Champions League. What it is pretty much the high school Champions League for all the local teams here. That's starting in September 30th. So I will be covering all of that from the draw all the way to the final. So I'll be all over the place.
All right, you're going to be a very busy man. If you are from the region of St. Louis, Missouri, go ahead and check them out, man. There's the content for you. Obviously, you can find them on GolzTV. You can find them on YouTube. Find him on Twitter. We'll definitely share his social media on our page when this episode drops. But thank you once again, Moussa. And we'll go ahead and go straight to me and Edward announcing our players of the week.
All right, thanks for having me.
And we are back. All right, Edward, players of the week. The first set of players of the week for the year of 2024. Who are you starting out with?
All right. So for this year, starting out with a man who actually came off the bench and turned the game upside down. And I'm talking about Kevin De Bruyne, who scored a goal and an assist in Manchester City's 3-2 win against Newcastle, which Manchester City was losing 2-1. Once when Kevin De Bruyne went in, he changed the game. Gave the pass or he scored the first goal. Dude, that was insane. Like, I have no idea. He shot it and it went between the defender's legs right into the bottom corner and just rolled in there. It was like, what? I was just like, I cannot believe that shit just happened. And then the pass, where I have no idea. I don't even know how that pass happened, but it was super clean, where it just kind of curled around the defender and just there was this young dude, he just came in, I think, as a sub, and then he just did a little regateo, and then real quick just chopped it in with his last touch at the last minute, the 90th minute, and I was like, wow. I was like, De Bruyne just changed the game right there for Manchester City. I was like, geez, man. So I'm picking him.
No, solid. KDB, way to come back after dealing with his injuries.
Yeah, exactly.
This is how you bounce back, not that weird, really cringy dance video that he did. So never gonna let him go.
And who'd you pick?
A lot of people would think I was gonna say Vinicius Jr. because he scored a hat trick against Barcelona in that 4-1 win in the Spanish Super Cup that no one gives a shit about. So, and I wasn't gonna pick him because that would go against everything I say, that no one gives a shit about the Spanish Super Cup. So my player for this week is Olivier Giroud, who scores a goal and an assist in AC Milan's 3-1 win against
his
Roma.
assist was fucking dirty, bro. That was disgusting.
Dude, Giroud
he did a little heel, a back heel right between the dude's legs. I was like, dog, that's disgusting, bro. I was like, geez.
Bro, Olivier Giroud, bro, is a fine wine, dude. The dude just gets better with age, man. Like,
I know that's one of your main strikers. Like, if you were to pick a striker, like that's one of your favorite strikers. I know that for a fact.
Dude's a fucking highlight reel. It was funny as hell when Arsenal signed. I remember they signed like two strikers way back, and one of them was Luka Podolski, which I was more hyped about Podolski because I knew about Podolski. And then there was Olivier Giroud, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Who would have thought? I'd be more hyped about. Ever since then, I've been such a big fan of Olivier Giroud. Dude's just fucking electric. I did not even wish him ill will when he joined Chelsea. Like, that's how much I like this guy. Maybe if he was at Tottenham, I would have hated him a little bit. But like, nah, this dude is so underrated, man. People like really do not respect this man as much as he should get. Dude is a World Cup winner, and probably the most clutch guy I've ever seen as well. Like the dude has that. Like I haven't seen a guy with this kind of clutch genius since Mandzukic. Like the
Yeah.
dude, and then just comes out with fucking bangers, bro. And Mandzukic, another guy that just got better with age. I mean, if you remember that guy, um,
Oh yeah.
in a lose, they lost in that Champions League final against Real Madrid, and I remember like, and Edward could tell you this. I was talking more about Mandzukic than I talked about winning that Champions League final. Um,
Oh yeah.
I was like, bro, that goal for Mandzukic, it was
Yeah, it was just clean, dude. It was
like I
just
was like, bro, I forgot all about the
it was
Champions League.
it was just an unexpected. You forgot all about that. Hey, this is a Champions League game.
Yeah, dude, I was like, fuck, bro, what a goal! I was like, if they use like FIFA Street rules where you get like cool points, maybe they would have
Oh
won.
yeah.
They definitely would have won that way, but yeah, so congratulations to Kevin De Bruyne and Olivier Giroud for being our players of the week. So we're changing things up with the voting format. We're still going to offer a fan vote because we need to have your voices heard. But the way we're doing this now is that we're actually gonna post a link. If you see this on the X or Threads, I'm gonna try to use Threads a little bit more. So if you see this on the link will be available, you just click on the link and you can go ahead and vote. If you're on Instagram, post it on the stories. You'll see the link right there, and it'll also be available on our link tree as well. But so that way we can actually collectively see all the votes. It'll make things kind of easier for me to count votes. I didn't try to change it in the middle of last year because obviously I'm not going to change the format as we're going on. So this is how we're going to do it. I think it's going to be a little bit easier. So go ahead and cast your vote. It should be available right now. You know what? I'll even post the. I'll also add it on YouTube. It'll be the pinned comment. You can vote for your player of the week for there. So remember, these guys, me and Edward each have given them a vote for the Player of the Year award. You guys will help get them an additional vote, which helps their chances to win the Roosevelt Spencer's Player of the Year award. So congratulations to Kevin De Bruyne and Olivier Giroud for being our players of the week. We do have some games coming up this weekend, man. Lots of action. So we'll kick things off in going across, other stuff going on besides the leagues that we normally talk about, Edward. USA versus Slovenia. This is the Camp Cupcake for the U.S. national team. That's the reason why we're not talking about them because, to be honest, these are guys that we're probably not going to see ever again in the U.S. men's national team. No offense. It's a lot of MLS guys. So, but they'll be playing against Slovenia. I'm sure that'll be a good match. Trabzonspor versus Galatasaray. That's gonna be a good one, especially in the Turkish league. So keep an eye on that. In the African Cup of Nations, we got Senegal versus Cameroon. That one should be very interesting. We'll see. Sadio Mane versus Andre Onana. I'm sure Cameroonian Andre Onana is better than Manchester United Andre Onana. At least we hope so. And Tunisia taking on Moussa's dark horse of the tournament, Mali. If you guys, especially, once again, shout out to Moussa, man. Go ahead, check out his stuff. Links are going to be in the description and the bios, so you guys can go ahead and check out his stuff. But he did pick Mali as his dark horse team. I picked Ghana. They already lost to Cape Verde. That aged very poorly on it. In Liga MX, we got Atletico San Luis taking on Pumas. Tigres versus Chivas de Guadalajara. I told you I was gonna watch some Chivas. I watched Chivas this year a little bit. They're gonna have a big test against Tigres. In Ligue 1, Coupe de France, which is basically their FA Cup. So I'm not gonna pick specific games because right now it's like the early stages of the tournament. So it's a lot of like lower division teams taking on like the first division teams. So I can't tell you which one's good. Maybe I should have picked whoever Olympic Lyon is because that's probably a pretty even matchup because they stink. Like, good God.
Damn.
I might not have to give away a jersey. They are bad. Like, I mean, oh my God.
Damn.
Maybe they'll quote this and then just start winning after this. That sounds about right for me. In the Bundesliga, we got RB Leipzig taking on Bayern Leverkusen. You guys remember Bayern Leverkusen still on top of the table.
Yeah.
SC Freiburg versus TSG Hoffenheim. It's a very good underrated matchup. You guys should probably watch that one. In Serie A, we got Roma taking on Hellas Verona. They need a bounce back after that Olivier Giroud masterclass. And Salernitana, where, if you guys know, Guillermo Ochoa, Memo Ochoa, for those of you who don't know that, plays there. He's a goalkeeper there. They're not very good. Taking on Genoa. I'm not kidding. Salernitana is terrible, but it's not his fault. In La Liga, we got Real Betis taking on Barcelona, and Girona taking on Sevilla. So, which is the other another team. Speaking of teams that are a part of my jersey bet, Sevilla. So they have to go up against Girona, who they look pretty good this year. Man. They're definitely the story of this season. Is Girona. In the English Premier League, we got AFC Bournemouth taking on Liverpool, and Brighton and Hove Albion taking on Wolverhampton Wanderers. So those are some good matchups this coming weekend. I know it's not all the matches, but if you guys are still trying to get into this game and not know what the fuck to watch, well, that's a good beginner's guide for you guys. So we'll go ahead and take one more break. We'll go ahead and wrap this show up with 3 up, 3 down.
Are you ready to elevate your sports betting experience? Look no further than DraftKings Sportsbook. Why choose DraftKings Sportsbook? Unmatched variety. Bet on your favorite sports leagues or discover new ones to follow. Live betting. Test your instincts and feel the adrenaline as you bet in real time while the game unfolds. Promotions and boosted odds. DraftKings keeps the excitement going with a range of promotions, odds boosts, and special offers. And a user-friendly interface. Whether you're a seasoned bettor or new to the game, DraftKings' intuitive platform makes placing bets a breeze. Ready to dive in? BellyUpSports has partnered with DraftKings Sportsbook to give you an exclusive offer. Sign up at dkng.co/BellyUp150 and new customers will get $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet $5 or more. Don't miss out on this opportunity to take your love for sports to the next level. Sign up today and let the games begin. Please gamble responsibly. 21 years or older. Eligibility restrictions apply. See website for details.
All right, guys, and we're back. So 3 up, 3 down. If you guys are new to the podcast, 3 up, 3 down is a segment where me, Edward, occasionally Spencer, which I forgot to text Spencer to get his 3 up, 3 down. So whoopsie on me. But normally on this segment, what me and Edward do is that we give you guys our top 3 and bottom 3 of a random topic. So, and usually when we do these end of the episode segments, we try to keep it away from soccer. Kind of, I guess, like a palate cleanser, I guess, if you will. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Kind of in a way, yeah. So it's
so.
kind of like a palate cleanser. So it's kind of just one of those things where we're done talking about soccer, so we just want to let loose on some stupid topic. So another year is done. So we're going to go ahead and do our 3 up, 3 down. The topic is the year 2023. This could honestly be anything. It could be pop culture wise. It could be personal. It could be sports affiliated. But it's just, our bottom and top 3 things that happened in the year 2023. So Edward, would you like to go first or you want me to go first?
So we're doing the 3 down?
Yeah.
Okay. So 3 down. So number 3. I was gonna say the heat wave this summer.
Oh yeah,
The heat wave this summer. It was really bad. Like even here in Houston, like usually you would think like we could probably survive it, dude. And I'm telling you this because I know this is like first world problems or kind of stuff, but I mean the heat wave just all around in the United States in general. I think there was actually places where people got their shoes stuck on the pavement when it's tar, that black tar, and they got their gumshoes stuck on their pavement when it was super super hot once they were walking to their cars, kind of stuff.
Bro, you can literally cook, like you can cook an egg.
Yeah,
I saw someone
really
cook an egg
It was really
I
that bad.
seen it. Like it was. I actually saw that. No, yeah, it was record level heat, bro. It was It was really bad. Like
Oh yeah, it was
I
hands
would
down
say that
100%.
especially for Robo, like my dog.
Oh yeah,
If you guys don't know, I have a dog named Robo. Um, like normally we walk. If I'm able to, I'll walk him at noon. Like if I'm home, if I'm not working or anything like that. Which I mean, this year I've been unemployed for a very long time. But so I was walking him at noon, but man, dude, it was so hot. Like he would not go outside. Like he was like, nope. It was funny too because the first time I realized that Robo didn't want to go outside because he knew it was hot outside. Like I was just like, okay, okay, well, so we'll wait till it gets cooler. So yeah, we stopped doing our noon walks during that summer because it was really like really rough on his paws to walk on that concrete. And
oh yeah.
my mom was like, "Oh, what if we buy him some shoes?" And I was like, "I just don't think Robo would do it." And I think like her solution was to use like children's socks.
I
Um,
guess that could work.
so we tried to put that on. Robo was just like, "Nope, not doing this. Nope."
How it is.
And now we're dealing with record level cold. So, I did buy Robo a hoodie. So I'm gonna see if he's cool with that, but
Right.
I don't,
Maybe he
I
might
really
pull
don't
on it.
want to
He
be
might
that
pull on
dog
it.
owner that dresses their pets, but it's like really fucking cold, so I really don't
No,
want to risk it with
it's
him.
really cold.
So,
It's really cold.
so I mean, I hopefully he's cool with it. I don't know. Maybe he's really sensitive about his paws. I've noticed that about him. But yeah, so yeah, the heat definitely that's a good one.
Yeah. So yeah, that's number three. Number two, um, let me see. Number two, uh, to be honest, I mean, I can't just pinpoint one or the other kind of things. Because I feel like there was a lot of um, natural disasters going on around the world, earthquakes, tornadoes, what have you. Like there was so many things going on around the world, flooding, tsunamis, um,
Something happened in
hell,
Hawaii, right?
yeah, that was actually that's what I was thinking. Like the volcano when it erupted, and then all the fires, and all the flames and everything like that. Um, yeah, so that was actually my thing. So it was how do I say it? Because I don't want to just say it was like the wildfires. There you go. And it was like the supposedly it was like the dry conditions in there, and I think it was like in Oahu.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was just it was pretty bad. I think it was like not around the same time as when we had that heat wave, like June, July. It was like right after that, like in August. So yeah, and it was like I think it was like most of the stuff that happened. It was like in the tourist parks, So a lot of people they make their money off of doing stuff like that, being like touristy spots, um, you know, the coconuts, the pineapples, everything like that, like selling all that stuff, like the fruit.
Mm.
Um, it just didn't pan out very well for them for that reason because it's like everything got burned out. And there was actually some deaths as well too. And then yeah, I'm not. Yeah, so that was
A lot of
a
natural
tragedy.
disasters. So yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and
yeah,
then so
that's a
that's
good one. I mean, not really a good one. But a
I
good,
mean,
a good
uh,
like
uh,
three down for sure.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, I was about to say that's a good one. I was like, Hector, watch your words.
But I mean, for to be on a three down, that's definitely. Which I mean, way to bring down the mood, buddy.
Uh, well, get ready to get it brought down even more because here's my number one. And my number one is, and I know a lot of people resonate with this one, uh, the death of Matthew Perry.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah,
so I read his book. Um, I was actually planning on reading his book, and then obviously, unfortunately, he passed away. And which I was just like, I guess I gotta really read this now. Because Edward can tell you I'm really bad at reading. Um, not reading per se, just the discipline of reading.
Yeah.
And so I read his book. It's just crazy all that was going through what he was going through during Friends. I ended up rewatching Friends also. Not because he's passing away, but it's just that's a show that I just always have on my natural rotation of shows that I end up rewatching.
The
If
Office, Sons of
if
Anarchy.
I don't try to watch a new series, I'll rewatch something, and Friends is usually a good one. It's just a really good show, you know. And I actually finally watched the reunion their reunion that they had on HBO.
Oh yeah.
That was just wow, like very emotional, especially because obviously I watched it after Matthew Perry passed away. So it was definitely like just wow, just especially of all of them, Matthew Perry was definitely the one that you could tell has things have not gone well for him. Even with Matt LeBlanc being fat, like I mean, like that was just, which I was surprised by that one because it's Joey Tribbiani. But then again, he eats a lot. But yeah, no, that was a really big. That was pretty. Not as I mean, I'm not trying to say that. Oh my God, it's a celebrity, so it's tragic. But it's just like what he had to like go through, what he was fighting, dealing with his addiction, and where he finally
Yeah.
was in kind of like in a good place, still battling with addiction. Like you guys understand where he's at with addiction is like at a whole like problem. Like he can't be near it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like he will relapse. Like it's one of those things where like it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it's gonna happen. Like he will relapse. Like it's happened time and time again for him. And so like which is what I got to learn about him from his book was just like his struggle of him wanting to like not do this stuff, but it was just in his head where he just couldn't live without it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's an unfortunate thing, but like all that he's been able to do, especially someone that has for him that's gone through so many rehabilitation centers, and then for him to like develop a better program. Unfortunately, it didn't work for him, but like to develop a program because of what he experienced to make it better for guys that for people that have gone through addiction, to make it easier for them to really fight their addiction issues. But yeah, it's and then obviously me and Edward are millennials, so we grew up on Friends. So it's always it's one of those like shows where it's comforting. It's weirdly enough comforting where you could just put on a random episode of Friends and just forget what's around. So yeah, that was a tough loss for sure.
Yeah. It really was, man. So I think I brought the room down. So
Well, okay, so good thing that my three downs are gonna be comical, but yeah. So my first three up is my first three down is the submarine.
oh god.
That had to be, and yeah, it's fucked up that it happened, but the reason why is just like there was so many like dude, people died, like, and we were making and people were making fun, and I gotta say we because I know I was definitely doing it too, and we were making fun of it, like, like was this isn't like, I mean, this is definitely up there with like Jeff Bezos building that penis rocket, but the thing was that like it wasn't where like it was for that the penis rocket was just funny but on all reason because one, they really didn't go into space, and two, it ended with Jeff Bezos stepping out of that penis rocket wearing a cowboy hat. So it was just like everything that comedy wanted, but it was like the same think of the same effort put into that penis rocket, but put into a submarine for people to go see the Titanic. I think that was the
Yep.
goal.
I think
And
that was the goal.
they lost connection of the controller.
Yeah.
And so, like, we don't know if they're dead, but it's really safe to assume that they are. kind of
I
thing.
mean, it's yeah, it's been a while.
Like,
So.
yeah, so it was one of those things where it's like the penis rocket could have gone completely awful. Like it could have done a very bad turn. But like it was like basically we were making fun of that because of just the events of the fact that it was a penis shaped rocket. But then if you were to put that same amount of effort, and it was literally the same amount of effort for that submarine, it's just that like they didn't come back coming out wearing a cowboy hat. Like they're not back. So, but
The
that
thing
was
is,
the
like, there was so many memes about how the controller was, and everybody was saying it was probably a Logitech controller, Mad Catz controller, and we're like, damn, like they were just going after the gaming industry at this point. They're like, some of them even put like, oh, it was the Play School controller, like the one that little babies use.
yeah, it was bad.
I
Like
was
this
like,
is one of those years where like the fate of humanity is not in good hands. I mean,
this is where I felt like, okay, let me put it this way. This is where I felt that humanity, or like the common sense of humanity, or like even the compassion of humanity, was that episode of South Park where James Cameron went underwater to find, the bar, like to set the bar for common sense kind of stuff. I don't know if you remember that episode. And then he even made it his own little theme song going down. And he's like, I've reached the bottom. And then he's like, and I'm going to keep going. And then like he just kept going. He's like, I finally reached the bar, the bottom of the barrel. And then he lifts it up. So then apparently that bar, when he lifts it up, everybody starts coming out of it, and they're like, oh, what am I doing in the mud pit? Like wrestling with a fat kid. Like I think it was Michelle Obama wrestling with Cartman, and she's like, "Whoa, what am I
I
doing
don't.
with?"
I had definitely. Is this like new the newer seasons
No,
or
no, 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 no. It's like mid seasons now. Like they still, bro. All the
bro?
new
I
stuff they
stopped watching
keep
South
coming up
Park
with.
after.
Oh, bro, I gotta let you know what episode it is, and you can watch it on. I think it's on
It's on HBO.
Paramount.
It's on Max.
No,
It's
oh,
on Max.
okay. Well, it's
I've
also
been
on
I've been rewatching.
Paramount.
I've been rewatching South Park. So and I'm only on the
Yeah,
first season. So it's gonna
I'm
be
gonna
a
send you
while.
I'm gonna send you the episode of that, or at least like so you can watch the episode. But yeah, it is bad. It was, and then that reminded me, especially because for one, it was a submarine. James Cameron went under there with a submarine, and the irony of it all, I was like, man, everybody over here is talking so much crap about this submarine that there's no bar for common sense or for compassion for these people. And I understand that it was like the dude who created or wanted the submarine created, his son, and then a couple other people, and it's like really cramped in there. And then it's like they didn't. I was like, I think they went into the bathroom into like a little itty bitty bucket kind of thing, and I was like, yo, like what is going on? Like I was like, this is bad. Like, and everybody was like, oh, apparently they lost. And I'm thinking, I'm like, you could have set like a backup team kind of thing going on, like
Yeah,
before you
there's
decided
so
to
many
go
things
out.
that
There's so many things could have been done before you decided to do this, like out of
yeah,
like
I just
whatever
don't
this
think
was.
they did not prepare. That's all I have to say is they did not prepare correctly
No,
for it.
let me put it this way: they prepared to go down
Not to come
into
back
a
up.
pool. No, they prepared to go
Oh,
down into a pool where they could probably bust open the latch and the pressure wouldn't kill them, and then jump out and be like, okay, that was a good test run, kind of shit.
yeah,
But
it was really bad. It was
it was
definitely bad. Uh, my number two is oh man, there's like so much things that happened in 2023.
so much
Um,
carnage.
a lot of shit. I'll put this at number two only because like it got really old very quickly, and that's that motherfucker's not real. Um, which if you guys don't, if you guys can't remember this, so this lady on an airplane got
Oh
into this
yeah,
like, and like it's so she came back into social media. She's really hot. Her name's Stephanie Gomez. But like so she went on Part of My Take, which obviously Edward can tell you because that's like a podcast I like listening to, and they've kind of befriended her now. So they actually now like randomly do stuff with her. but like they asked her about it, like what was over there, and she was just like nothing. So, but anyways, it just became like this whole meme of this. It's like there was so many people that are making memes off of this off of her, and so like everyone had like their own like you know TikTok just went crazy with that one. A lot of memes that happened with her, and then all of a sudden she comes back on to social media and became this proponent for mental health. So she definitely took advantage of her fame. But yeah, I think at one point it got really old very quickly. But she is very hot. I will add that to it about Tiffany Gomez because she is one attractive woman, very much out of my league. She's in real estate. She lives here in Dallas, Texas, actually. So
Shoot your shot, man.
no, shout out to Hank Lockwood. Tiffany, if you're listening to this, I want to let you know that uh you thank Hank for me because he made a very generous donation to some animal shelters here in the Houston area, saved millions of lives. So, what a guy. Great guy. You should really, really, you should really get to know him a little bit more. So shout out to Hank. I'm sure he's gonna fix that wall, by the way. Um,
Dear God.
anyways, and then my number one down is the police officer.
Oh, here we go.
It literally started the year. So there was this police officer. I forgot what state. I think it was Tennessee. Where she had an affair with her whole police unit. And like her husband's like a park ranger or something along those lines. But yeah, it was just and like it was also a meme. A lot of people roasted her. They said that she looked like a police Morty from the Rick and Morty planet.
Oh
Uh,
God.
yeah, she definitely got roasted pretty badly. Um, yeah, a lot of things came out of that case where, she was fooling around with all the cops, and then she has the audacity to then try to sue them for sexual assault, which was like in the entire hearings, all you heard about how she was very much complying with everything. So yeah, it was just like one of those things where it was just like, damn, she did all that, and then she came, then all after like getting hit with the brunt of all that to come out and start trying to make yourself the victim of this. It was just like one of those things where like even the people you were interviewing were like, yeah, we really don't buy this at all. Like you you chose to go down that route. So yeah, I just remember like, and here's the thing, I didn't know what was going on. All I just saw were just pictures of this cop like everywhere, and I was just like, what the hell is going on? So I finally Googled what the hell is this cop all about, and when I read the story, I was just like, oh my God. and and
Damn.
and okay, so I'm gonna say this. Obviously, I'm ex-military.
Okay.
Kind of happens in the military too. Um,
This dude here, he's not gonna finish, guys. He's not gonna finish this.
I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna I'm not I'm just saying people ain't loyal. That's all I gotta say. Um, but it kind of similar to that, like when you're in a very much male dominated field. Not saying that all of them do it. Not saying that. Don't say that I'm saying that. But you do have those that kind of pulled the same thing that cop girl did. The police officer did.
Oh God. Okay, I think I know
So,
where you're going with this.
so once again, so like that was because like yeah. So I was like, wow. One, I agree that yeah, she cheated on her husband. So like that's already a no. Obviously, and then plus a lot of those police officers that were in that unit are very much married as well. So just a very ugly story. And then it was just unfortunate that then this girl was just getting also strays for her appearance. Which I mean, I will say that there was some pictures that made her look good, and then there were some pictures that weren't as flattering. I think it's just one of those things that's just in the moment when she, when she fixed, she ain't ugly. I'm not gonna say she's ugly. That would be really mean. Clearly, her whole precinct feels different. So like,
Oh my God, this dude.
but but yeah, it was just one of those weird stories that I couldn't believe happened, and I was just like, oh my God, and I felt so bad for her husband, who was a park ranger, which honestly for quite some time I forgot that was even a job. Um, so
Yogi Bear went looking for the picnic basket, and I think he found it.
yeah, definitely did. So yeah, so that was definitely to me the story of the year of 2023, the worst story of the year 2023. But all right, Edward, let's make things positive. Let's go. Let's get going with the three ups.
Yeah. All right. So three up. Mm, three up. Well, okay. How about this? I actually got to on my number three. Um, let's see. Number three, positive. I'm trying to think. It was like a lot of positives didn't really happen, but you know, um,
Really?
really trying to think,
Nothing
bro.
positive happened in 2023.
No, not a lot. So it's like I have to think about it.
Why are you
Um,
thinking about it? You want me to go?
yeah, go. Let's switch it up.
All
Hector
right.
goes first.
All right. My number three of my top three is gonna be, obviously I got to live out my dream job of being an equipment manager for the Houston Dynamo. Obviously it's number three because obviously I got fired. But uh which I joke about it. I joke about it now. It obviously if you asked me back in July when I did get fired, I it was a very it was tough. Obviously I cried because it was like I got I one I it was those one of the weirdest things ever was like I know it wasn't because of me that I got fired. It was they said release. They okay. Let's. I'll be honest. They said I was getting released. It's just a nicer way of saying getting fired. It's um, but yeah, no, I had so much fun though. Like within that time of from January to till the beginning of July, like it was just to me was just like every single day was awesome. Never felt like it never felt like work for me because it was shit that I like doing. There was never a dull moment in there. Like everyone that I've met at the Houston Dynamo, are amazing people. Like I don't like I'm really I always say 100%. Like I don't wish ill will to anybody. I'm not mad at anyone from the Houston Dynamo. Like I knew the decision. I understood why the decision was made to release me. Don't think I'm mad. Don't think I'm and even now, like you know, Edward, Jose, from GolzTV, they can tell you like I do not take shots at the Dynamo. Like I
Nope.
don't. I still respect the club. I do love the club. I still root for the badge. So but I got to meet some amazing people, and everyone at the Houston Dynamo Academy really made me feel welcomed. And if anybody wants to say something about Tony Virgil, just understand that I will go to war for that man. I have nothing but the utmost respect for him. So I'm just gonna make that very clear. I have no ill will towards Houston Dynamo. I understood their decision and I respect the decision. Am I still unemployed because of because of that unfortunate decision? Yes, but that's just because my resume sucks apparently. So and so I mean I'm good.
Well, all right. Anybody listening to this, please tag the man that he said. Tag the Dynamo, if anything, so they can listen to this or clip it, send it to them. Maybe there's a what you call it, light at the end of the tunnel. Something good for
No,
my
no, no,
boy.
no, no, no. That one, I don't want that to. I don't want anybody to do that. But no, it was just once again like it was a great experience. I met some amazing players, some amazing not just players, just amazing people in general. Never thought I would be rooting for Hector Herrera like I do now. I might get a Hector Herrera jersey. I might get a Hector Herrera Mexico jersey. I might. I might do it. But no, what they're doing right now. The way they're building that club, man. They're doing a good job. Shout out to Pat Onstad. Shout out to Asher. Nick Koba, Kenny Bundy, Tony Vigil. I'm gonna mention Tony Vigil again. What they're doing over there. Ben Olsen. Ben Olsen's a fucking G. But like everybody over there, man. Like I have nothing but the utmost respect for everybody over there, and just know that you guys let me live out a dream, and I'm never going to take that for granted. So, and to all the guys in the academy, man, keep being great. You guys are doing the city proud, man. Congratulations, Sebastian Rodriguez. 16 years old, signed his first professional contract with the Houston Dynamo. Really proud moment for him, but like, yeah, definitely like I got a little emotional when I saw the notification for him. Really proud of him. He's a good kid, man, dude. Mexico, USA. I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing. Fucking call that kid up. He's fucking good. Like he will improve your team. He's gonna improve your national team, by the way. But yeah, man. Like, so no ill will towards Dynamo. It was honestly the best fucking job I could ever have done. And if somehow if I had to do this year all over again, I would do it all over again. Like I would not, maybe hopefully not get fired, but like I would do it all over again. Like I would repeat the process, and it was just because it was just that fulfilling for me. It was amazing for me. So that was my number 3. Obviously, can't make it 2 or 1 because obviously I got fired. But number 2, this was definitely like, Edward, you can tell me if I'm wrong with this, but it seems like it was the year of reunions.
Yeah.
Like everybody was doing some sort of fucking reunion. I think I could be wrong about the Friends one. I think the Friends was probably like the year before. But I think even Harry Potter did a reunion.
I think that was around Christmas time in 2022.
Okay, never mind. Then that doesn't count. NSYNC, NSYNC did their reunion. Everyone thought they were gonna do a concert, but I think it was mainly to promote the new Trolls movie, which in some way we all got trolled. So full circle moment there.
This motherfucker.
Freaking Beyonce reunited like the entire
Child.
Destiny's Child.
Yeah.
Like and I'm not just talking about Kelly Rowland and Michelle. I'm talking about like, if you guys remember the Say My Name music video, there was 5 of them in there. And so all of them were in that reunion. So it was pretty cool. I'm trying to think of other reunions that happened, but there was a lot of reunions. Was there any reunions in wrestling? No.
Actually, didn't CM Punk come back again?
Oh, CM Punk reunited with the WWE. Yeah, you're right. That's a good one.
CM Punk came back. Randy Orton came back. Cody Rhodes came back.
Well, Randy Orton has been with the WWE. It's just that
No, I know, but he was out with injury. But then also Cody Rhodes came back to WWE.
That was last year. That was 2022.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
No, but yeah, that one was big. Oh, Edge and Christian reunited because now they're in AEW.
Right.
So D'Amico Ryans reunited with the Houston Texans. That's good. Segue into my number 1. My number 1 has been. It's not depressing to be a Houston Texans fan anymore. It's, dude, fucking A. This season has just like, I gotta pinch myself sometimes because I just cannot believe it the way this team has been playing, bro. Like CJ Stroud is an amazing quarterback. You know what? My firstborn child, I'm gonna name him CJ. I don't know how many. Carlos Jose. But yeah, that kid has just been amazing. I know everyone was saying that he wasn't going to be good because he didn't pass a certain test. Like, and I love his quote. He's like, "I'm a football player, not a test taker." Greatest quote of all time. I love that. Yeah. But yeah, the Houston Texans, just ended up winning the division. They fucking demolished number 1 defense in the Cleveland Browns in the playoffs. And this Saturday they're gonna go up against the Baltimore Ravens for in the divisional round for a chance to go to the AFC Championship game. So yeah, it's finally great to be a Texans fan again because this team stunk. for quite some time.
Damn.
No more the days of Deshaun Watson. It's now the CJ Stroud era. Also, I have speaking of shitty jerseys that I own, I do have a Deshaun Watson jersey that I still don't know. Some guy told me to set it on fire. I don't want to really do that because that's a lot of money. I told him, hey, if you want to buy it for me for $20 and you want to set it on fire, I'm cool with that. But I'm not gonna do it. So, hey, if you're someone that likes Deshaun Watson for some weird reason, you want to buy a jersey, or if you want to set that jersey on fire, do you want to buy it from me so you can set it on fire? I'm willing to take any offers at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, number one, Houston Texans. And obviously, me and Edward live in Texas, so we know what sport is king here. It's not soccer, unfortunately, but it is football. And obviously, we're from Houston, so we root for the Houston Texans. So it's been an amazing year. Just once again, D'Amico Ryan's former first draft pick from the Texans, now coach of the team, and made this team really good. So I'm really happy about that. So it's great to be a Texans fan in 2023.
Yeah. So, okay. All right, 2023. Okay, so this one's kind of like a iffy. 2020. Well, this one's 2023. We got to see EAFC 24, which is like basically no longer affiliated with FIFA. It's just EAFC.
Oh, okay.
So that's gonna be. It's a new thing. I think it's a good thing in a sense, but at the same time, it's like we're waiting to see for them to fix the glitches because that game is glitchy as hell.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I can't fucking continue my save.
Why not?
It won't fucking let me keep going. Like, all right, so I started out with the Houston Dynamo. I won back-to-back MLS Cups. Suck it. And then I went to Boca Junior and I won the treble. So I won the Argentinian League. Apparently, there's also like another cup thing that Argentina does. I don't know if that's true or not. Don't quote me on that one. I'm just playing EA Sports FC. And then I won the Copa Libertadores. And so I keep trying to leave to go to Europe, to start making my big splash dominance in Europe. And the game kicks me out.
Damn.
Every time. So like, and it's crazy because like I've gotten Ajax, I've gotten who else? Like I think I got like I had a championship team. I forgot what was the championship team, but like I signed with a championship team, got booted out. Got Ajax, got booted out. I got I think it was a Turkish team. I think it may have been Trabzonspor. I got booted out. So like EA Sports FC will not let me continue. And I'm like, I'm not trying to like restart another career because one, that's literally 3 seasons. Seasons that I've played already. I'm not trying to do it all over again.
I'm sure you're not.
Because it's look, guys, it's easy to start in the MLS and then go to the Argentinian League and then go to Europe. It is freaking difficult to do it the other way. So, and also it takes a lot of patience to play in the MLS. So yes, I am not trying to start a new save.
Okay. All right. Okay. So also for my anime fans out there, Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 came out. It was badass, by the way. Along with a few other animes that came out. I think Attack on Titan ended up in 2023. I think that was like the last episode. Yes, it did. Attack on Titan finally ended 2023. Finally. Can't say the same for One Piece, but One Piece still keeps popping out episodes, which is cool with me. Apparently there's a new art style. Go figure. And so I'm excited for all that. I'm happy for all that. Like I said, for all the anime people. And number one is, and you're going to laugh, Fortnite came back with Fortnite OG and then they actually did a zero build where you don't have to build at all. So it's just nothing but shooting and playing the storm basically.
So you're playing
So
Fortnite? You're playing Fortnite again?
oh hell yeah, 100%.
I noticed. Okay, so Fortnite, because I literally don't play. I don't play video games that much anymore, and clearly I'm not playing EA Sports FC anymore until like they fixed that bug. Um, but I saw that you can play as Peter Griffin was a boss or something like that.
Yeah, it's funny. He's a boss, but you can actually get the skin of Peter Griffin as well. But the
Yeah,
thing
and
is,
it's
it's
like
above
Jack.
Peter.
It's like Jack Peter
It's a
Griffin.
Jack
Like,
Peter Griffin. Yeah, yeah. Because the thing is, and this actually came out recently, that Seth MacFarlane said that Epic Games told him we can't afford the fat Peter Griffin in the game because of the dimensions of his body, and for it to be moving around, it costs a little bit more. So they left him jacked.
that's funny.
Yeah, it is.
And then
That's what apparently
I
that's
think
what they told
Avenged
Seth.
Sevenfold like did like a concert in Fortnite as well.
They did a concert. Eminem did a concert. The Weeknd did a concert. Um,
It's crazy to think that this
yeah,
all started from Travis Scott, by the way. But
yeah. It all just started with Travis Scott. But yeah, no, I mean it was pretty good. It was pretty cool too. Like they even have the Eminem skins too, and then
okay.
they had like yeah, they had like the Marshall Mathers skin, the Eminem skin. They had a E-Boy. You know, whenever he did the Slim Shady song and he came dressed up like Robin, but except it's like he looks different.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, like Fortnite decided to do a lot of. They did collaboration with Lego as well, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. We should pretty much tag like Fortnite on this, Epic Games on this, so we can say they can see that I'm hyping them up. Because honestly, I do have fun playing Fortnite, especially no build, because I'm done playing with tryhards, with sweaty tryhards who are building a castle while I'm over here building a pizza box. Okay, so leave me the fuck alone. All right.
All right. So Fortnite, the
So
year of
that's
Fortnite.
the year of Fortnite. Yeah, the comeback of Fortnite. That's the year of the comeback of Fortnite.
All right. So that is episode 158. I want to give a shout out to the Belly Up Podcast Network. You can check out their website, BellyUpSports.com. Lots of great articles being written over there. Go ahead and check them out. You'll may or may not see this on YouTube because I'm kind of debating on what clip I want to give them for their YouTube channel. But also subscribe to them on YouTube, Belly Up Sports. Check out their Instagram and X at Belly Up Media and at Belly Up Sports. Lots of great content. Check out all their YouTubers over there. Their podcasters over there. Kelsey from High Low Sports. Jared from the Corner Booth. Josh from Rising to the Occasion. Jesus Christ. Oh no, I think that's what it's called actually. Rising to the Occasion. Is it? Don't quote me on that. Sorry, Josh. Sorry, Josh, if I got that wrong. But they also have some cool Belly Up exclusives. If you guys have been keeping up with Belly Up, I was on there recently on their Belly Up After Dark, which is basically where it's late night. We talk some sports. We drink some alcohol. I drink a lot of alcohol, so that go ahead and check that out because I'm sure that was enjoyable. But so yeah, Belly Up TV, man. Go ahead and check them out. Lots of great stuff. GolzTV, man. GolzTV is the Hulu of soccer content. If you guys want to check out, lots of great people. Obviously, you guys got to see Moussa from Mo Football. You can see him there as well. Lots of great content, man. You'll see me every once in a while as well on GolzTV on their original programs like Yanks the Round Table or Wake Up MLS. So if you guys also want to see me over there, go ahead and check it out. You can also watch episodes of InsertName FC over there as well. So, which is kind of one of the reasons why me and Edward started created our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to YouTube, by the way. So there is that. So check them out at golz.tv on Instagram. Once again, at golz.tv on Instagram and on X at golz_TV. Links will also be in the description if you guys want to make things easier. And of course, shout out to Roosevelt Spencer, man. Shout out to him, dude. Way to perform last episode, for the end of the year episode, his performances of Eye to Eye, Hero by Foo Fighters and obviously Ella Baila Sola by Peso Pluma were amazing. Speechless. Once in a lifetime kind of performances. So, once again, Spencer, you're probably gonna get pissed off when I say this, but you probably could have opted out of Ella Baila Sola. Like we could have picked another song for you. I was really impressed that you chose to go ahead and sing it. If anything, I did not expect you to sing that song. I actually thought you were gonna text me immediately like, "Bruh, this shit's in Spanish," and you didn't. So you're the true testament. You took it on. You're the true testament of what it means to be a Roosevelt Spencer's Player of the Year award winner. Shout out to Erling Haaland, by the way. So literally, so that's another thing we could just add on to what it takes to be a Roosevelt Spencer's Player of the Year, which is resilience and never backing down from an obstacle like a language barrier. So that just all in all. So if you guys want to know a little bit more about Spencer, if you guys hear the intros and outros for our episodes, well, Spencer is the mastermind behind them. He's also the one that has to edit our singing bed, so unfortunately he has to hear me and Edward sing. We apologize for that, by the way, Spencer. So if you guys want some beat work done, if you guys have a YouTube channel or a podcast or maybe you're a musical artist, well, follow him on Instagram at thatguydope. Once again, at thatguydope. If you guys need some beat work done, shoot him up a message and he'll take great care of you like he always does for us. Also, everything that I just said is going to be in the description below of these episodes, so you guys can go ahead and check them out as well. So thank you so much for listening to episode 158. Catch us next week for episode 159, where I have a big interview. It's actually a personal. Remember, guys, when I started this podcast, I had a personal list of people that I wanted to interview, and this guy is, in fact, on my list, and that is Eddie Robinson, 4-time MLS Cup champion, former Houston Dynamo commentator. So he's going to be on next week's episode for an interview. It was a lot of fun to do it. Hopefully we can definitely bring him on for some more discussions. So it's really exciting for me. I cannot believe I was able to wait this long to finally announce it. But yes, so thank you so much for listening to episode 158. Catch us next week for episode 159, where you're going to hear my interview with Eddie Robinson.
All right. Take care, guys.
Who is that guy?